Okay. Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Wrestling Prime. I am Tom Dog, and with me on my left is Tails. Tails, how you doing? A little introduction about yourself.
Hi again, everyone. I was here on Thursday, and I'm back to talk about our favorite thing, wrestling. I am a part of Crypto Nightmare Gaming. We are expanding more. We have been a little under construction, but we're getting ready to basically get out of our hibernation. We do video games, board games, comic book conventions, and all things nerdy.
Awesome. And I also understand you're going to be doing a wrestling show pretty soon.
Yes, I am. We have one coming up called This Week in Wrestling. We're going to go over everything from WWE and AEW because I am not a huge fan of Impact. I don't like NXT. And
Yeah.
I unfortunately don't have Ring of Honor, but I have some people working with me, so hopefully they'll take care of those.
Awesome.
And I think I've
Awesome,
assembled
man.
a pretty damn good team, if I do say
Yes.
so myself.
Yes, you did. We will be the Avengers of wrestling, of wrestling nerdom.
I'm down.
There you go. We just got to find a Captain America. We're not sure who's the Captain America though.
I guess I'd be the Iron Man since I brought everyone together.
Yeah.
Probably Josh would be the Captain America since he brought my team together.
Yes, and he'll call us out if we have language.
Pretty much. So he's gonna be really busy since I
Yeah.
curse like a trucker.
Yeah. And I'll probably be the Hulk.
Well, we'll figure
did a-
everyone out.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta fix the settings on this. So I can quality on this is it's an old tablet. There we go. All right, so we have a huge show to cover, as we all know that we lost a couple of wrestlers this past within 24 hours of each other. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're also going to include Darren Drozdoff, who passed away last month. So we're gonna include that as well too, because I didn't get around to do a eulogy on him, and I was supposed to, and I missed out on it. So we're including him in this show. Also, Tails is going to be giving her insight on giving her reviews on AEW's All In. We originally were going to do the predictions episode last night. However, I fell asleep.
And I was having technical issues.
Yes, and so we decided to do it at this hour. So yes, definitely. So doing a review, doing a AEW review instead of the predictions is I figured it would be a lot better. Plus, also this will be the first AEW pay-per-view review that we are covering here on this channel. Also, the chat is open, so leave your question and comments on in the chat board there. We will if you have and let us know if you saw All In London. So let us know what you thought about that pay-per-view. So that will be the big topic right there. Before we get into and plus also some stuff that went down on SmackDown with the tribute show and everything like that. Our thoughts about it, and a lot of interesting topics to talk about, definitely. And but before we do that, this episode is brought to you by M&J Video Games and Collectibles. if you have any wrestling collectibles or wrestling autographs or any other wrestling collectibles in your possession, and you want to make room or make some money off of that selling these items, then M&J Video Games in Southington is for you. And if you want to know where in Southington it is, also they do meet and greets as well too. Um, with the list of events that they have going on, you never know what wrestler is going to show up doing these meet and greets and autograph signings and everything like that. But there's only one place to go, and that is mnjvideogames.com. So, and it is really, that place is really, really awesome. And if I ever, I can also do a show over there. So anywhere down the line, do a show. Dale, you're more than welcome to come along and everything. And we could do a live show even while there's customers.
I mean, I'm down. If they have magic cards, my boyfriend will probably be there in like 5 seconds.
There you go. Wrestling Prime. It'll be Wrestling Prime live. Not to say that we're live now, so
in person,
but live in person. So it'll be a lot of fun. Anywho, so let's get all the sad news that came about. Now, we'll start off with Darren Drozdoff because that's the most recent one. That was the latest one that passed away. I believe it was like somewhere around in July where he passed away. It was really sad to see him go because his career was cut short due to a training accident when he was prepping for his match against D'Lo Brown on a taping of Monday Night Raw, and apparently things change, and he got paralyzed from the way from
the
the neck down. Yeah, the neck down, and I believe it was a spinal cord. He severed his spinal cord, which
yes.
left him paralyzed, and he's been confined to a wheelchair ever since. And things happen. D'Lo to this day feels still to this day feels bad about it, and but I think they have a mutual understanding. That's according to rumors and hearsay, and but Droz was very unique. We basically knew him for his strange gimmick, and that being is that he was able to puke on command, and Vince named him referred to him as Puke. There was a little bit of a documentary about him in the movie Beyond the Mat, and which I still have that movie. I watch it from every now and then, and it's just a very it's a good documentary, but it was mostly targeted to basically talking about Jake Roberts and
McFoley.
Yeah, and so I mean it was a pretty good docu film, and but you know but even though Darren had a short career as a wrestler, he had a pretty good run. He had a decent run, and I think it would have been. He would have evolved more had that injury not happened. Obviously, um, he was they were going to book him as a mid card talent. Probably getting one of the, like, maybe not IC, but maybe not intercontinental, but maybe European Championship at the time, or maybe Hardcore Champion. That would have been a good fit for him. Um, Maybe even Tag Champion. Um, but speaking of tag teams, he had a tag team run with Legion
Albert.
of Doom, huh?
With Albert, too.
Albert, yes, I forgot about that. Yeah, there was Droz and Albert, and I did forget that tag team actually happened. And but everybody just remembers that whole thing when with Droz and LOD, and being involved in Hawk's drinking um, story angle, I guess you want to call it that, and with Droz um, pushing Hawk off the Titantron and everything, and it was a crazy time uh, during that time, and this was like
So,
like like the early stages of the Attitude Era.
so I unfortunately missed out on Droz. I saw probably at about 10 years old Beyond the Mat, where I got introduced to him, and the strongest memory I have of him was just Vince going, he's gonna puke. And then I knew vaguely of the Legion of Doom. I knew about
Yeah.
the team with Albert because I remember they would pierce people if they beat them. So,
Yes,
and
and
then,
at that
and then
time
I,
he was known. Albert was known as Prince Albert.
yep. I also remember seeing him in Dark Side of the Mat when they were talking about the Brawl for All.
Yes.
So I didn't
Yeah.
have a ton of exposure to him, but I knew of him, and I
Yeah.
also knew about the terrible accident, of course.
Yeah. And yeah, he was also a part of the Brawl for All too. Um, because basically it was just a bunch of wrestlers who didn't get much TV time, and with Vince Russo saying that, oh, this is let's give them an opportunity, and plus also with the alleged with the rumors going around saying that, oh, Bradshaw was talking smack in the back, saying, uh oh, I could beat the shit out of this guy and everything like that, like, you know
Given what we know about him, would you be surprised?
yeah. And the least we talk about the Brawl for All, the better, because
Oh,
I mean, a lot of places, a lot of you know shoot promos, shoot interviews, and podcasts and everything, where they've talked about it, and the least we talk about it, the better, because that was a dumpster fire. and
that's putting
and
it
it
nicely.
yeah, and it just put a lot of wrestlers, a lot of good wrestlers, um,
In danger.
in danger. Was one of them, and not and Steve Williams, Dr. Death Steve Williams was supposed to be feuding with Steve Austin, but that didn't happen, and because he thought that the Brawl for All was a piece of garbage, and he wasn't going to go and put over a guy who just, who was supposed to be a legitimate, who's technically a legitimate badass, lose to a mid to low card talent, which was Bart Gunn.
Yeah, and then he got his ass kicked by Butterbean,
Yeah.
who went on to
And
beat the shit out of Johnny Knoxville.
hmm And the least we talk about that, the better.
Yes.
So
Yes,
I guess we talked about Brawl for All, even though we said we weren't going to talk about Brawl for All. So
our bad.
that's a lie that we're never going to cross again.
Yes. Well, maybe as a punishment, we could watch it and talk about it.
Yeah. If we bet on next year's WrestleMania or Royal Rumble, loser has to watch all of Brawl for All.
Well, unfortunately, you guys will be reviewing it with me being far, far away.
Yeah.
Because I'll be there. And I'm so
Oh,
hyped.
there you go. Oh yeah, that's right. You're going to be at WrestleMania, so we're gonna have to work on something so that we can where that you can get a live feed from where you are.
I can get this set up with a hotspot.
There you go.
Or I can just use my phone.
Because we always go all out on the WrestleMania specials around here, so that'll be really awesome.
Well, I don't think
And
I
then
can get any further out than that.
this way here we can be anybody who's on can be jealous.
As I probably cry after meeting the wrestlers again.
Yes, I know, right? Lucky.
Oh God,
If there's any way you can grant interviews, that'll be awesome.
Well, I'll have my cards. I will try to be as friendly and as cheerful as possible, and maybe someone will take pity on me.
Yeah, and if you have business cards, give them out.
I do, and I got to get more.
Yeah, I got a whole mess of business cards. I got them done at Staples for $10 or $20 rather. So
I got mine at Vistaprint.
oh, nice.
We got ourselves business cards for me, business cards for my channel partner, and then stickers with a QR code for our channel.
We had to exchange business cards.
We do.
when we
will
made
do
up
that on Saturday, on Sunday.
Yeah, definitely. So, Darren Droz, short career, but left a pretty big impact. He's going to be missed, definitely, and hopefully someday he'll be in the WWE Hall of Fame, which he should.
Oh, he definitely he should have been inducted forever ago.
Especially with the Warrior, given the Warrior Award, he would have been a perfect fit to get that Warrior Award.
They'll probably do it posthumously now, which is unfair. He should have had the chance to go on stage and accept it. Yeah. And I feel the best person to induct him would probably be Albert.
Yeah, absolutely. That's if Albert still has any good grace, still has any involvement with WWE.
Isn't he still a head trainer for NXT?
I think so.
Because I
have to look at his bio on WWE.com.
Because I do remember after what was that guy DeMott? After DeMott left and Matt Bloom took over, everyone was singing Matt Bloom's praises because DeMott is a fucking psycho.
Mm-hmm. And the least we talk about him, the better.
Fuck that guy. Fuck him right in the ear.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm not gonna get into to that. He's a friggin' scumbag.
A lot of people, unfortunately, are secret scumbags.
Yeah.
But I digress.
And a big word of advice to all you wrestling fans out there. Never look up to your I forgot how it goes and I already botched it already.
Never meet your heroes?
Never meet your heroes.
I beg to differ because I met Mick Foley, who was one of the sweetest, kindest men I've ever met.
Yeah.
I met Matt Hardy, who very kind, very. I had told him when Matt Hardy came back after the whole Edge and Lita thing, that was actually right on my 16th birthday, and I was there.
Oh, nice.
And I met him when I was, I want to say 18, and I just said, I had a bad birthday, and then you made it better, and he grabbed my hand, and he said, I hope you have many more good birthdays. And I met Wardlow, who, again, kindest man in the world.
Yeah.
Well, second place to Mick Foley.
Yeah. Awesome. I had an opportunity to interview my early stages of Wrestling Prime. This was back when I was doing this on cable access. I had an opportunity to interview Jimmy Snuka.
Ooh.
And in light of this was before all that whole scandal was about, even though during the time it was happening, but it was one of the most, and we still, in light of what he did, or not do or anything like that, contrary to what's going on, I honestly don't know if he did or not, and who am I to say that? So I mean, it's in his grave. You know, what happened is in his grave, and it's out there on Vice. With
Yeah.
with the Dark Side of the Ring, and you know
Speaking of,
whatever
you
the
had a
things, but
documentary about China on Vice too.
yeah, absolutely, but during the time that I met him, he was um very humble, and he actually put me over um in the interview because I still remember the words that he said to this day, which is I was standing right here, pretty much where I am now, and he was on my left, and I was interviewing him, and he was like, he looked at the camera, pointed to me, and said, "You see this man right here? You pay attention to this guy. Listen to him. Big things are going to come to him in the future."
Well, that's really nice.
So I pretty much, and me seeing that, and I still remember the line word for word, and because I said it word for word, goosebumps just literally came up, and I'm not lying, goosebumps, literally goosebumps, and my heart was broken when he did die and everything, and I try to, and I did my best to pass all the controversy behind him in his personal life. And like I said, if we don't really know if he did it or not.
Hmm.
And and I just hope, and to this day, I still hope that he didn't. So,
Understandable. The most I got is I got to be McFoley's official F-bomb counter.
oh, there you go. Nice. That's one
And
guy I have not met yet.
I've met him twice. And he's just, because he did a comedy show, and it was like either 2013 or 2014. I want to say it was 2014, and it was in September. And it was a birthday gift from my mom to go see him, and
Nice.
we had a sitter for Moxie the dog, and we got right up front. He went and I had bright pink hair at the time, and he just looked right at me. He's like, "You're my official F-bomb counter," and I'm like, and my boyfriend is like
Nice.
pissing himself laughing, and I'm like, because every time we go somewhere like to a live show, he's like, "We could have watched this at home. We could have done this. We could have done that," and he's complaining that we're going like, it's just gonna be comedy, and he's like coming right up to our table, I'm like, "So, honey, what did you want to say again?" Shut up. Because the first time Edge retired, we were there.
Yeah.
He was complaining, he was bitching, he was moaning. He was like, "This, we could see so much better at home. This and that, blah, blah, blah." And Edge comes out and he retires. I'm like, "What did I say, honey?" And it was his first Monday. It was his first Raw. So
Yeah.
I have dumb luck with wrestling shows. I was there the night Matt Hardy came back, the night Jeff Hardy came back,
Nice.
the night Edge retired. We were there the last Raw of the decade. So yeah.
Nice. Now,
But
it was in Connecticut, right?
yes.
The comedy show.
Yes, it was
And
at the Funny Bone in Manchester.
oh, Funny Bone. Okay, I was actually gonna guess Toad's Place.
No, but that is where Keanu Reeves is going to be soon.
I heard. I heard because Mitch, the guy that runs Terrificon, I posted in his I commented about that, and I said, Mitch, hint hint, next year's Terrificon.
Well, make sure you drop those hints for Wardlow, because I will go again to see him.
Yeah.
And I'll even
And
bring my giant wings again.
oh, there you go. And hopefully next year I'll be able to go too, because
I
I
I
def I literally kicked myself in the pants for not going this year because when I found out that there was going to be a AEW panel, I wanted to be a part of that, and since I didn't get a chance to go, I am so mad.
It was a
at
it was a
myself,
very
at
good
myself.
panel. It was a very good
And
panel. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I wanted to meet Wardlow too because I do like Wardlow. And I hope he gets like main event gets main event status if he
I would
hasn't
love
already.
I would love to see him take the belt off of MJF.
Yeah. I mean,
It
if
would be
anybody can do
beautiful.
it, he can. Yeah.
He's already
If
done it
anybody,
once.
yeah,
He
absolutely.
fucking annihilated him.
Yeah.
They fucked him up so
So,
badly, they put the oxygen mask on upside down.
yeah, absolutely.
The joys of working in medical. So I can't watch
Yes.
the Connors anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that is an N95 nasal mask. Looks like it's about size medium, and it looks like that's a heated tubing. Boyfriend looks at me, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Oh.
but I digress. This is more of a serious
Yes.
topic.
Yeah. And but anyways, we will miss you, Droz. We will miss you very very much. And then last Wednesday, I believe, we lost Terry Funk, hardcore legend Terry Funk, one half of the Funk Brothers, who uh, during his early stages in wrestling, he and his brother um, Dory Jr. Went on to be um, tag team champions in Texas, and they were a big hit in Texas, and they were pretty much untouchable at that time. Um, when you think of Texas wrestlers, you think of the Funks, you think of the Von Erichs, you think of uh,
Austin, JBL.
uh yeah, Austin, JBL. But I'm talking about like the golden age of wrestling.
Uh,
With the Funks, the Briscoes. I think they were in Texas. And then you have the Von Erichs. Um, and then of course the Freebirds as well too. And they were, you know, Terry and Dory. They were pretty good. They were an awesome tag team back in the days. I was watching some old footage of that, of their fighting and everything. But Terry was a little bit crazier
oh
than
yeah.
his brother. And then when they broke out into a singles career, Terry was basically, just a good old boy Texas badass. And this was before hardcore wrestling became became a thing, became a household name. And but then hardcore wrestling started breaking in, um, and then with the early stages of ECW, which was um, back then before it became Extreme Championship Wrestling, it was basically the Eastern Championship Wrestling, and when it became Extreme Championship Wrestling, Terry Funk was on the light of that, and with their first pay per view, he won the main event in that one, and three-way dance, and it was a damn good match, and yeah, it was an awesome sight, but watching it getting all bloodied up and barbed wire and everything like that, you just watch these matches and it's like there's gonna, what's he doing to his body and everything, and then when he came to the WWE with to do some matches with McFoley, um, and then later tagging with him, becoming Chainsaw Charlie. Um, during the early stages of the Attitude Era, and it he was middle aged and crazy, and it's still one big moment I do remember with Terry Funk was when the night Mick Foley went through the Hell in the Cell roof
Yes. Oh my God.
when he got choke slammed through
Out of his
the roof
shoes.
of yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, and then the Undertaker, the Terry came out, the check on him and everything, and then he got in the way of the Undertaker. Undertaker grabs him, choke slam him out of his shoes.
so again,
It,
I was raised in a Roman Catholic household, so my grandfather was very, very, very anti-wrestling. So I didn't get
yeah,
to check out ECW. I didn't get to check out all the highlights from that. Most of my knowledge from Terry Funk was from Mick Foley's books because while he didn't like wrestling, he loved that I loved to read. So if I said I really want this autobiography, fine, you can go ahead and sit and read it in the living room. And so like I would hear these stories of like the man, I think it was a flaming steel chair he got hit with, and he tried to sue ECW because Mick and him were having it a Japanese death match that Mick Foley went through.
yeah,
I remember him telling jokes about how, like, I'd write about the funker and my handwriting is so bad, they always thought I was writing about the fucker. I remember my boyfriend, who did get to watch it, went out and he used to collect the WWE and ECW videos, so he went and bought the ECW history one, and he talked about how Terry Funk was not, when he was in ECW, it wasn't about, I want this title, it was, I'm going to go ahead and build him up. And by God, I'm
yeah,
going to build him up. And it's like, even now, we need more people like Terry Funk
yeah,
was. Like, we don't need these, we don't need Randy Orton coming out and getting a run with the belt. We don't need Goldberg getting another run with the belt. We need these newer
yeah,
guys. We need our Ricochets,
yeah,
our Braun Strowmans. We need them getting the belts. We also needed the
yeah,
fuck off of Roman already.
yeah,
But again,
absolutely.
I digress. From everything I've read from Mick Foley, everything I've heard about from Mick Foley, Terry Funk, while middle-aged and insane, was just the kindest person and always wanted to help others do better.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it was the rise and fall of ECW on that
Yeah,
WWE documentary, and I have that DVD. I play it a lot. I
we have it somewhere in our storage here, somewhere
and
hiding in my
and
office.
there you go. And Terry Funk, I still remember the line they said in one of the promos they said, "I'm glad that there's still wrestling, which is spelled WRESTLING out there." And and yeah, there is. And and yeah, he is, he can put, he was more into putting a guy over and everything, and that's all he wanted to do. He wanted to you know, put the young guy over, um, who was the next in line for the belt, and he didn't really like anybody going after that spot, you know, hogging that spot. They wanted to, get them ready for the next guy, and and he had some pretty damn good matches with Ric Flair as well too, and yeah, there's not a guy that Funk did not wrestle. It's basically he pretty much fight them all, whether it was uh during his era or in the new era of wrestling. He was in there and like spanning over 50 years in wrestling. I mean that's it's a rarity nowadays. It really
It,
is.
if I remember correctly, it was at One Night Stand. It was Mick Foley and Edge versus Terry Funk and Tommy Dreamer, correct?
I believe so. Yes.
Because I remember I was reading one of Mick Foley's autobiographies. I'm not sure which one. I think it was the Hardcore Diaries. And he had talked about like they had all these other ideas, all these other things that kept getting scrapped and like just messed up. Like I truly wish we got to see what Mick Foley had envisioned instead of what Vince destroyed.
Yeah, absolutely. And Terry, he was one of my favorites too. And when I was doing all that, um, outlaw mud show wrestlings in my backyard, um, there was always a little bit of that kind of attitude that I brought in there. Uh, whomever I was fighting at the time, when I was doing backyard wrestling at the time, and a lot of wrestlers always hated hated people like me doing that stuff, but I was more I was more of the gentler ones. We never my crew my group and I we never smacked each other across the face with fluorescent light bulbs.
Oh,
Um, which I mean, there was hardly any blood. We hardly had no blood at all, and that was good. So it was a an extremely rare time that we ever made it to the hospital, and only like one time. There was only one time um, that that our one person of our group went to the hospital, and that was um, T Black. He's supposed to be, technically he's supposed to be my co-host, but he couldn't make it tonight. So um, there was a spot where this one guy, his name was Dan the Man, smacked him over the head with a trash can, and apparently it was a piece because originally T Black put me through it. The same dented trash can, the pointed part that was folded went right into
oh.
yeah. But you didn't see the blood. You didn't see the blood. Thank God, because we would have been canceled for sure. And
So I was banned from doing that stuff. If my mom's like, all right, if you want that so badly, I got signed up for karate classes.
yeah,
And then once I hit high school, I actually did grappling classes.
yeah.
And unfortunately, I was the one that ended up in the hospital because I shattered my wrist.
Ouch.
That's how you start junior year
Ouch.
off.
Ooh.
And then once I hit 18, I'm like, fuck it. I went back to a dojo. And I'm actually probably the middle of September going back and getting my black belt.
Oh wow.
So I'm going the opposite direction. I'm going to go do karate again instead of grappling.
Oh, there you go.
But I was a little scrapper. I loved fighting. My friends and I would, when school let out, we'd end up beating the shit out of each other in the lunchroom.
Yeah.
Hopefully my mom doesn't watch this because she'd have a fit wondering why she'd have to pick me up from school later because I'd say I have a club meeting. It's just, nope, we got into a fist fight. Bye.
Oh boy.
And also I was the only girl of the group, so I knew how to definitely scrap because I was holding my own.
Oh man. And well, when we did our stuff in the early stages of backyard wrestling, we were wrestling at the studio, and there was like a little platform which was you could slam anybody, and it had a nice give to it, so couldn't go through it or anything. It had a nice sound to get slammed on, and one one major spot I always liked doing. I had many spots that I liked doing. But one I always liked doing was I would get at the time I was working at Stop and Shop, and I had a buddy of mine who was working in produce. I said, "Those crates are awesome. Can you save me some?" And he did. And these wooden crates would have like a metal wire in the middle of it to hold it together. And so what I did was I ripped that out and just made it as a regular, just like a regular box, a regular wooden crate. My father, who was director at the time, wanted me to whip all the wires out, and I said if I did that, there wouldn't be a box. I want a box. So he was like, okay. And so one of the major spots I like always getting doing is that whoever I was fighting always grab a wooden crate and put it through my head, and I would wear it like a helmet. And then I would drop to my knees and then just fall down. And I love doing that spot with whomever I was with. And so one particular fight, uh, this other guy that I had, his name is Sledge. He, he took one of the crates, put it on my head. My father, who I was wrestling at the time, take the wooden crate, and I wanted to hit. And this was the spot that I wanted to do. I said, "Here's what I want to do. I want the crate over my head, so I could wear it like that. But at the same time, I want you." I was pointing to my father. I said, "You and Sledge take the other two wooden crates, and simultaneously sandwich me with the head." I wanted to do that spot. It didn't happen.
Oof.
What happened was my father hit me first while I was still wearing. Then Sledge came in, so there was like a delay between the two of them. So Sledge was on cue. My father was late, and I wanted to do the concreto. That's what I wanted to call it, the concreto. So even though it was well done, the move was all right. I was whiplash. I'm laying down now on the ground. I'm laying down on the ground, and my hands started twitching. My hands started twitching, and I'm like, oh shit! Did I just purposely almost try to make me go to the hospital? But I was fine. I had some scratches around my neck,
Oh.
and it was at the on the lines and everything, but it wasn't enough to really like, oh Tom, you need to go to the hospital. So I had a little headache, I guess you could say. But before that even happened, I was refereeing a match at the beginning of the show, and this all happened in December. We called it the Christmas Carnage, and I was refereeing the first. We had two matches. I was refereeing the first match, which was two new guys that we were debuting, Hendrix and T Bone. So what happened was, um, yeah, no, X Dog. I'm sorry, X Dog. So what happened was there was supposed to be a spot at the match where Hendrix went into X Dog. X Dog fell into no T Bone. T Bone. I'm sorry. Hendrix speared into T Bone. T Bone fall onto me, and all three of us go down, and the match would end like that. We did the spot. However, we were an inch off. We were an inch off. So instead of me falling on the floor, my head went through a wall,
Oh.
which was in the studio's wall. So, and there was plywood, and because it was plywood and everything, there was a beam that was, here's my head, here's my head, here's the beam, right there. I
Oh,
was really
you're
close to
lucky.
my head was like barely even hit if I hit the beam, I definitely would have had to go into the hospital that night. But luckily that didn't happen. So
Yeah, you're really lucky.
throughout the whole show, you saw this big basketball hoop shaped hole that was used by my head, and it became one of the most popular spots that we could ever do. And it wasn't, and the thing is, it wasn't even supposed to happen. The next day, we get a phone call, and the guy that ran the studio, his name is Steve Mandera, one of the nicest guys that you'll ever meet, and we still have a good relationship to this day, even though I'm in Southington and he's in Waterbury, Connecticut, I should say. He goes and said, he was like, "What the hell happened to this wall?" And so my father was down there at the time because he explained to him what happened. Because he explained to him what happened, and he said, "Tom," he picked me up from work, and he said, "Tom, let's go to the studio. We gotta, you know, gotta talk to Steve." And I said, "All right, no problem." And I said, I came clean. I told the truth and everything like that. And he told me how much the wall was going to cost to repair it. It was $175 at that time. And it was in 2000, uh, getting into the heels of 2001. And he told, so yeah, it was, and to this day, whenever I'm in Waterbury, everybody still remembers that to this day. Everywhere I go, everyone talks about that spot. It's like, "You're the guy that got his head put through that wall." And I said, "Yeah, that was me." And it's like, that was Bill. And it's like, that happened. And I was like, that happened back in 2000. I can't believe everybody still remembers that. Yeah, that was a big spot. And no, everywhere I go, everyone still talks about it. So I'm a
There
big
you go.
celebrity in Waterbury. And so yeah, the hardcore wrestling that I owe it all to guys like Mick Foley and Terry Funk, because I was one of the most craziest ones on that group, because I had a attitude like Steve Austin. I had the you know the badass mentality of both Mick Foley and Terry Funk. So I was like pretty much you know the bastard son of both Terry Funk and Mick Foley. But we never called it. We never used that gimmick. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. And but then we started doing stuff in the backyard at the time, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and but yeah, but got but a lot of people don't really like um that kind of wrestling. It's like garbage wrestling, and I can understand Jim Cornette's um opinion on that, and I respect that. And if he ever found out that I did that shit, he would shun me, even though I would still have respect for him. So
Yeah, I'm iffy on him, but I'll leave that for another day.
yeah, and but yeah, um, but that Terry Funk. I mean, he was one of the best. He was one of the best. I mean, he pretty much did a lot for wrestling. He was able to put a guy over, and you know he knew he was a great worker, and he will be missed.
Very much so.
But then 24 hours later, last Thursday, we broke the news on Channel X, even though the word was already out, but that Wyndham Rotunda, aka Bray Wyatt, passed away, age 36.
It's scary. He's
And
only a year older than me, or he was a year older than me.
I am like 11 years older than him. And because I'm 45 now. I'm
Huh.
45. And so yeah, it's very scary because you know it's we knew that he was having some health issues. Come to find out, he had um he had tested positive for COVID. And then it transitioned into him having a heart attack, and that's how he passed away. He was on the road to recovery.
He was just cleared.
Yes. And there was a rumor. I don't know if this was true or not, but there was a discussion about him working with Alexa Bliss again.
Oh no, that was definitely planned, and I think it was that Bo Dallas was supposed to be Uncle Howdy. Alexa was supposed to be the witch, Abby the witch.
Yes.
There was supposed to be a rambling rabbit,
Mm-hmm.
a Mercy the buzzard,
Yes.
and a Huskus Harris, I think.
Yes.
I'm not 100% sure, but they had a whole plan for him. But unfortunately, which
Yeah.
I personally I had COVID at the end of February this year, and I've been told I may have a heart condition, so I actually am going to see my cardiologist tomorrow. So
yeah.
But it's terrible, and it's sad, and I don't think it could have been prevented.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and I just remember I came home Thursday. I ran to the store because I was out of batteries for my ears.
Yeah.
And my boyfriend, who doesn't like to watch normal streaming things, is just like scrolling around, and I made him stop because Fightful. I said we follow Sean Ross Sapp, and Fightful said Bray Wyatt was dead. I'm like, oh, that's got to be like a gimmick, right? Like, oh, they're saying he's dead, and then he's gonna show up at Payback for his payback against Roman Reigns or something, right? And then it's a very somber Sean Ross Sapp saying that he had passed.
Yeah. And so that was pretty much and yeah, and ever since I got COVID back in 2021, it was very scary because I have health problems too. Just that it became more clear after I was COVID free, and because of that, I got my blood sugar went up, my I suffered sleep apnea. I have a hard time breathing now because of this, so I can get COVID at any time. So I just got to remember to take the vaccine when it comes around. I'm going to be taking one. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be taking one my next doctor's appointment, which will be next month. And yeah, it and because of my and with the sleep apnea, I had I did last year finally get a CPAP machine. However, earlier this year, I had to get rid of it because of the fact that because of the CPAP machine, I was having a hard time breathing. One particular night, I slept. I was supposed to, I slept with it on as I was supposed to, and I stopped breathing for a while, and I freaked out. Um, and for that short minute, because I stopped breathing, I hallucinated, and I panicked. So I took it off, and I unplugged it and everything like that. I said, "Listen, I'm getting rid of it."
So
So I don't have that.
you and I will have a talk off camera because, funnily enough,
Yeah.
I used to work in DME, which is durable medical equipment, where we did a lot of work with CPAPs and sleep apnea. And I work for a pulmonologist, so we do a lot of work with CPAPs and sleep apnea. So I guess you met the right person. But
Yeah, there you go.
Apparently I have it too, but it's very mild, so I don't need a CPAP.
Yeah.
But I was very lucky because I work for a doctor's office. We have to keep up to date on all of our vaccines. So I have the 2 initial shots. I had 2 boosters. I just had my second booster right when Pokemon Scarlet and Violet came out because I always get sick from the vaccine. I have a very weak immune system.
Yeah.
And so I always take a day off because I get really sick. The first shot, they thought I had COVID because I was vomiting. I was like very weak, very feverish. Second shot, I felt like I got hit by a bus, but I was able to go back to work 2 days later. The third one, I was down for 3 days, which was fantastic. It was like having the flu. And then the fourth one, I just had like on and off fevers and body aches. But so we got COVID the end of February, and I'm like I had surgery back in December, and I'd been COVID tested, and then I bought more. We always kept COVID tests in the house, and we got these ones from CVS. Don't ever get the CVS brand COVID tests, because I took it and got 4 false positives, which I was terrified I was going to miss out on my surgery. And then also a little trick for if you're doing a home test, if you're positive, it's going to snap like that.
Yeah.
So back the last Saturday of February, I remember feeling really tired and run down. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to take a COVID test. And my boyfriend's like, yeah, I'm going to do it too. I'm like, okay. And he never does it. Like, he always tells me I'm being paranoid, I'm being nuts, blah, blah, blah. So I take my test and it comes back negative. I'm like, oh, I'm fine. He takes his test and within a second, positive.
Oh.
And I'm like, fuck. So I call the local urgent care and I go and I get a PCR. I set him up in the bedroom, and like every so often I'll leave like, because I can't show it because I'm not going to move my whole computer,
Right.
but I have doors that. So I'm in my living room. If you go forward and there's double doors that close, it's my office, and then if you go to the side is our bedroom. So I would keep the double door shut. I would keep the mask on. He would keep his mask on, and if he went to like use the bathroom, he would Lysol the doorknobs. He would Lysol the toilet. He would Lysol the sink. He would Lysol everything he touched. And I spent the night on the couch. And then that Sunday, I started to feel really sick and really bad. And so I did another home test, and it was really faint, but there was that line. And then a couple of hours later, I took another, and boom, there was the bright red line. I'm like, shit, I have COVID.
Oh, boy.
And I remember I was really sore. I was really achy. I had a headache, and I was coughing a lot. And then I woke up that Monday and I already called out of work. I said, hey, my boyfriend tested positive. I popped positive from a home test. My boss was like, oh, well, you need a PCR test. I'm like, well, I went on Saturday. I'm waiting for the results. She goes, good. That Saturday, they call me. They're like, yeah, you're positive. I'm like, okay, I had a feeling. And I got a call from the CDC a couple of hours later. And I was out of work for 10 days. And I was very lucky. I just felt really fatigued. I never lost my sense of taste or smell. My breathing was fine, which is a very good sign because I have asthma. But I also think that aside from me being vaccinated, is by that time I had dropped about 40 pounds.
Oh, wow.
So, like, as of right now, I'm down 112 pounds. In fact, I will pull up my phone and I will show you what I looked pre-op so you can see just how much I changed. Because I had an amazing friend who did pre-op photo shoots and is on my case to do post-op since it's over 6 months later. There we go. And again, these pictures were taken November 2022. So here was me. Hopefully I can get that good. November 2022. Yeah. And here's me now. So I think the weight loss helped. I think being vaccinated helped. And I'm always taking my multivitamins and everything. So we were very lucky. But I'm still, I immediately called my pulmonologist and told him what was going on. I didn't think about the cardiac part. So like now I'm doing that. And I know it's like 6 months later, but still better late than never.
Yeah, I gotta lose the weight because if I lose the weight, I won't need the CPAP machine. Right now I'm 266, and so I pretty much gained 10 pounds since my last doctor's visit, and so the doctor wants me to lose 10 pounds. I should be fine. And there was talks about me taking Ozempic for my diabetes. I don't know how accurate that is, how good that is, because if I have to take a needle, I'll take a needle. but right now I'm taking what's called metformin, and I just got to remind myself to take it, more than what I should, as prescribed to me.
See, I just have my morning pills, and that's about it. Because when you have bariatric
Yeah,
surgery, jeez, I'm on a whole
yeah,
stash of pills now, and it's insane. So I feel like an
yeah,
old lady every Saturday morning. It's here's the pantoprazole, the levothyroxine, the amlodipine, the methotrexate, the folic acid, the vitamin B12, the B complex. Because fun fact, if you have a vitamin B deficiency, you have stinging in your lips, your tongue, and your throat.
Oh wow.
It's terrible. So I'm on vitamin B, and I haven't had that issue since.
Oh boy.
But yeah, enough medical talk. We should be getting
Yeah.
back to Bray Wyatt,
Yes,
who
exactly.
was
Yeah.
unbelievably talented, unbelievably creative,
Yeah.
and
No matter who he was, whether he was Husky Harris or Bray Wyatt or the Fiend, um, he
well, except for the
he
Burn
came.
Fiend, that one was not that great.
Yeah. And I mean, when he got set on fire,
I
that
mean, you and I both know that wasn't actually him. That was just a dummy.
right. Yeah. But still watching that the video of that was very crazy. And
His
but he but he knew how to, scare the living daylights out of everybody. And he is the first wrestler when he did the vignettes at the early stages of Bray Wyatt when he was, wearing what I'm wearing now. He he came out there and did the vignettes and everything, jump scares. I was like, no wrestler has ever done that for me. Undertaker came close when he got put in that casket back in '94, I think it was, at Royal Rumble, and when he had that match with Yokozuna. And
so I was
yeah,
only 7, so I don't know.
it was either '94 or '95, I forgot which. And that came close because that was unheard of and everything like that. And of course my fear of death. There you go. Need I say more? But yeah, it was But here comes Bray Wyatt with the real name Wyndham Rotunda, and came out there with the vignettes, and every vignette, jump scare after jump scare after jump scare, and I'm like, he's the one. He got me.
So I remember
And
when the Fiend first debuted and we were watching SummerSlam. I remember it wasn't just us; like the whole stream was very laggy,
yeah,
and like it started off with the Fiend at the top of the ramp. And it was like, oh, that's kind of creepy. And then the next thing I know, it's like close up on his face, and I was like
yeah,
hanging off the couch, and I just remember like just seeing that, and I like fell and landed right on my head, just freaking out from that. Which
yeah.
I'd also said to my boyfriend because we had gone to Dave and Buster's like a couple of days prior, and I'd won a little plushie. Like, all right, I'll
Nice.
name the plushie after whoever comes out next. And it was the Fiend. So I'm like, great, this is the Fiend now. And I fell off the couch because the fucking Fiend. And of course, his first opponent as the Fiend was.
Um. Oh yeah, the demon,
Well,
Finn
he wasn't the
Balor.
demon. He was just Blue Trunks Finn Balor.
Yeah,
That is something we'll never get to see. We'll never get to see Fiend versus Demon King, which is really unfair.
yeah, I know, right?
Because I
But
remember, I want to say it was like 2018 when him, Roman Reigns, and maybe JoJo all came down with meningitis, or there was a
yeah,
meningitis risk. Because that's when we were supposed to get that match, and instead we got Demon King versus AJ Styles, which was a good match, but
yeah,
again, not not what everyone had hoped for.
Yeah. And but yeah, that one that seeing that would have been an
Amazing.
awesome, because I always loved that version of Finn Balor. I've always did. But then when he started wearing the trunk, just wearing the trunks and everything like that, and just, it's like, why is he being humanized? It's just like, keep him as the Demon King. I was like, it would have been, he was over at that time. I mean, he actually won a lot of matches as that with that gimmick.
Yeah,
And
that's why the Demon King has a higher ranking in the games.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And, and if and that was like a dream match right there, all to itself. The Demon Finn Balor versus the Fiend Bray Wyatt. That that was like a WrestleMania match right there.
It would have
And
been amazing. And
and we
I'm
still
not.
would and we probably still would be talking about it to this day.
Oh yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, the tribute show, I sobbed. I cried like a
Oh,
baby. Like when they
I
started
think
doing
we
the
all
10
did.
bell salute, like I was just breaking down, and my heart went out to Eric Redbeard and to Braun Strowman because they lost
Yeah,
Brody and
yeah.
now they lost Bray, and it was fuck.
And that the one who put that show together, that tribute show together, and I got to give him really good props for Michael PSA's.
I was wondering why he was in the back. And I knew
He yeah,
I wish I
he
wish they
put
let
that show
Red
together.
wrestle. I wish they let
Yeah.
Rowan have a match.
Yeah. And I think that would have been a really good tribute. But I don't even, to be honest with you, I don't even know if Eric Rowan is under
He's not.
I don't know if yeah, and it's like,
He,
is he
he's a free agent
is,
right now
oh, he's a free agent. Okay.
because
Because I do it.
he only had one match in AEW, and that was for the Brody
Yeah.
Lee tribute. And I
Yeah, that
sobbed
was
like a
it.
bitch at that one too.
Yeah. And yeah, even then I cried and everything, and he, you know, because the thing about with you know, not to take anything away from Bray Wyatt for a moment, but with that whole Brody Lee tribute, it was nice to see both AEW and WWE coming together, doing like their own little, doing um, their video, and had this nice video package,
I
and
I loved
it's
the
like,
stories they told.
yeah,
Like
and it's something that they should have continued doing.
definitely.
When with Bray Wyatt, it would have been nice to see Jericho say a little something about Bray. Seeing Dean
Danielson.
Ambrose and Bryan Danielson.
So
Um,
those might be online because I remember the Brody Lee ones were WWE exclusive. And one of
yes,
my favorite stories they told about Brody Lee was, or I guess at the time Luke Harper, was the
yeah,
referee had put like "suck it Harper, Harper sucks" or something on the turnbuckle because he would always like slam his hand down and like look at the turnbuckle.
yeah,
So he went and he took the steel steps and brought them to the top of the ring because he knew the referee had to bring them all the way back. And then there were stories of like, why are you wearing those weird socks? Well, my son picked them out. Or he had the choice of going to bed at his hotel and then heading home, or he can drive 8 hours and bring his son home, see his son off to school. And it was always, he drove the 8 hours. And I heard the story of how Cody Rhodes and Big E and a couple of other people came down to be with Brody Jr. And I haven't had a chance to look just with everything going on, but I'm probably going to look tonight and see if there are stories talking about Bray Wyatt and his
yeah,
influence on there. And there's probably some in AEW, which when I talk about All In, I will happily talk about the tributes they did.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
But
I saw a couple of them already.
Yes.
And
I especially liked the House of Black's tribute, which I'll talk a bit more about.
yes, yeah.
But do we want to go all in now?
Not yet, not yet.
Okay.
Because there's more to say about what um, but yeah, big shout out to Michael P.S.A.'s for putting that show together. It was very
Yes.
well done, and the tribute match with Finn Balor and
LA Knight.
LA Knight, very good match, and the promo that LA Knight did too, before with the Miz, very well said,
I
and
am looking forward to that match at Payback.
oh yes, that's gonna be really really good. That's gonna
Which
be a
we are going
really
to be
good match.
spoiled this weekend with wrestling, huh?
Oh, oh, definitely for for 2 weeks. For 2 weeks now, there's a lot of wrestling topics, and uh, but yeah. So you know, Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, we miss you already. We still miss you. Still can't believe you're gone, and but you're but the legacy that you left lives forever. Um, Seth Rollins did a little video. Um, if you haven't seen it on social media, I suggest you watch that little video. Um, I even cried when he cut that video, and you could tell that he was doing a lot of crying too. And you know,
Well, they had that
and
great feud, so there was that.
yeah,
Except for the Hell in a Cell match, which kind of sucked.
yeah, yeah, I agree. But nonetheless, it was really good. Plus, also, um, from what I understand, I think Roman Reigns came out and
Yes.
um, he retired the SmackDown belt
Good.
to JoJo. Um, because technically Roman Reigns has the one belt now. So he keeps the other two as trophies. But he retired the SmackDown brand and gave it to JoJo and said, you know, did a nice tribute to him. And so um because from what I understand, I think Bray Wyatt beat him for that belt,
So
if I'm
Bray
not mistaken.
Wyatt, from what I remember, Bray Wyatt beat, I want to say Braun Strowman for it. And then
Yeah.
a week later, they had the triple threat match where, because I think Roman came back after the Braun and Bray match.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then Roman beat Bray and Braun for the title. Because I remember Bray and Braun had that whole like series. Because I remember what was it, the Swamp match?
Yeah. That was at Extreme Rules during the um Thunderdome era.
Oh god, all I can remember now is the Rey Mysterio eyeball. Ugh. He
Yep.
popped it out, but it got better.
Yeah.
And Seth Rollins puking, wonderful.
Yeah.
But I digress.
Oh, yes.
I remember that
And
was a good match, and I was actually recommending to someone the Firefly
yeah.
Funhouse match with John Cena, because that
Yeah.
was a really good match.
It was, and I watched that match from time to time, and I was like, the way WWE at that moment, during the COVID era, there was some good stuff about it. There was some bad stuff about it, but what really got over with the fans is that with the cinema matches,
Those
they
were
did good.
really,
They
yes.
even though they were hit and miss, they were still good. And and some of those matches reminded me of the time when I was uh doing something similar like that, um back when I was doing, on cable access. And I can recall the one big moment that we did, and it was when Dan the Man fighting off this other character that got over really huge. And he's known by the Dark Lord. That was his name, and his gimmick was like he was like our version of the Undertaker. So, but instead he was looking like a Grim Reaper. He had the skull and everything like that, and he was very menacing. So much in fact, um, our I was working at McDonald's at the time, and one of the ladies like, I saw you on TV. It's like I saw you on TV, and it's like you had that one character. He goes by the name of Dark Lord, and it's like, yeah, it made my 1-year-old child cry. And I said, and I it was like, because he couldn't sleep and everything. But yeah, thanks to that, thanks to your guy, the Dark Lord, my kid has nightmares now, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but
My bad.
hey, but I said it to her, but then in reality, I'm like, job well done.
Or why are you letting a 1-year-old watch wrestling?
Yeah, well, apparently what happened was he was teething at the time, and he was having a hard time sleeping and everything like that, and he was crying and everything. But then, you know, so she was trying to trying to calm him down and everything. But she was flipping the channel, and he came into that, and then she saw, she just happened to see the Dark Lord, and I told the Dark Lord about it, and he was like, job well done.
Mission
So yeah,
accomplished.
yeah, it's like because and but we had this one match a long time ago where we did this spot where we're fighting outside and it was dark. It was looking like kind of like what the Undertaker and AJ did at WrestleMania that
Mhm.
year, and so yeah, it was something like that, and it was awesome. It was awesome. But yeah, and that was pretty much a cinema match right there, and it was good. It was really really good, and so seeing WWE doing stuff like that, and I said, somewhere, there's always a spot, there's always something that we did that WWE uh, copied from, whether it was my head through the wall or doing that one cinema match. Somewhere down that road, it, during the years of me doing that on cable access, WWE always tied us to that. WWE, we always tied that to WWE. And I think there was somebody behind the scenes watching our stuff at the time.
You never know. I mean, Vince was always like just snapping up different territories back in the day, so
Yeah,
maybe he would watch indie stuff and try to get ideas.
yeah. Well, technically, we were indie, so we were basically stuff that Vince wouldn't even dare touch. And it's like, oh, these guys are getting hurt. It's like, but you know what? This one guy putting his head through a wall. We got something there, pal. or or even that guy that's making fun of the Undertaker, fighting this other guy who's a, a Diet Coke of Triple H. That's another good cinema match. We're going to keep that in line in case something happens. If we ever get down to that road. So yeah, my Vince McMahon impersonation, ladies and gentlemen.
I can't do
Anywho,
any impersonations except for Teletubby, so
ah, but anyways, you know, but watching that Firefly the Firefly Funhouse match, that was memorable. That was a very memorable moment, and it was awesome. As cheesy as it was still very watchable.
it
And
was great.
it was well done. It was well done, and I love seeing stuff like that. And it was great. It was really great, and and it fit through that line with Bray Wyatt because he was, with the character that he was doing and everything like that, with the Fiend, it got over big time. It literally got over big time, and you know, we're never going to see anything like that ever again.
No.
Just only through vignettes and Peacock. That's it.
Yeah.
And and you know, and those moments are going to last forever. And we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna miss all these guys tremendously. But Bray Wyatt was the one that shocked us the most.
Yeah.
And
It still doesn't feel real.
and you know we miss, it's been like 3 or 4 days in now, and we still miss him. And so what we're going to do right now is to give a moment of silence, and then we'll do it right there. So let's go ahead and do the moment of silence. I miss you. I'm already tearing up because
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt.
Well,
And
be ready to cry more because there are a lot of little tributes.
yes, and which we're going to segue into the AEW All In. And Tails, I'm gonna give you the floor because you saw the pay-per-view. I saw bits and pieces of the pre-show, but which I will admit I did miss the matches that were on the pre-show.
Oh, you missed out. You got to watch them later.
Yeah, I'll check that out. But I did see some, but there was a pre-show moment that I did see that we can comment on.
Mhm.
Former WWE superstar Sasha Banks, aka um,
Mercedes Monet.
Mercedes Monet, and she was there at attendance. And
I was just like, what? Why the fuck is she here? Why? Hang on, I have it in my notes here. It wasn't during the women's match, which I thought was really weird.
yeah,
I think it was either during House of Black versus the Acclaimed, or it was Jericho and Will Ospreay. But it was just like her. It almost felt like she wasn't actually there. Like it was footage from her sitting somewhere else. Just it felt like out of
yeah,
place.
yeah,
So for all we know, she wasn't actually there. But because like they didn't show her during the women's match, which I don't think that makes any sense. Like
right.
is she going for? Is she going after Ospreay? Is she going for the trios titles? Like why there?
Mm.
Why not during the 4-way?
Yeah, and like maybe get into the phases of Soraya, but we'll get into that later. And
I think her and Will Nightingale would probably put on a great series of matches and would probably be nice to put a belt on her
yeah,
because Willow is absolutely adorable.
yeah, and I don't even know what the status of Jade Cargill is,
Yeah, we haven't.
but she's
She
another.
might just be taking time off because like
Yeah,
she was on every week.
yeah, because there was rumors. Before we get back, I know we're talking about all in and everything, but really side note because I wanted to talk about this a long time ago, weeks ago about the women's division in there, and I guess Jay Cargill said something um about that and everything, and but but yeah, there were some rumors flying around that her contract may be coming up and everything,
Makes
and
sense.
and so yeah, she could be a free agent. I mean, if that's true, um, I would like to see her like maybe with Ring of Honor or Impact.
That would still be with AEW though if she went to Ring of
Yeah,
Honor. So I don't think that would be the
yeah,
case. I would probably see Impact, maybe WWE, but
yeah,
unfortunately, and I hate this, women they don't get a fair shake. Like
yeah,
look at WWE right now. What's the main story on Raw? It's Trish and Becky.
yeah,
And it's like Rhea Ripley is barely in the women's division. She's basically holding it like a toy.
yeah.
Like,
And
yeah, it's cool that she's the enforcer. It's cool that, like, she's beating the shit out of men, but, like, either start giving her men's titles and shots at men's titles, or like, have her start kicking ass in the women's division again.
Yeah.
Unless she's injured, which, if that's the case, do your thing, heal up, and then start kicking more ass.
Yeah. And it's like, with Rhea, she, yeah, there's you have all these women in the division, and mostly they're fighting tag team matches. We don't even know who's champion in
I
that
know.
field.
I know.
And then what was that?
It is Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, because Sonya Deville is out with an
Oh yeah,
injury.
that's right. Yeah, I remember that there was the title change. And I
Which
think that
I
was on
was
Raw.
Yep, and I was so hyped for, because I absolutely love Piper Niven. I think she is such a badass. And I also think, like, outside of the ring, she's just such a good person, because when she was teaming up with Nikki Cross, they thought Nikki got hurt and immediately just dropped all brain touches, flips over to her, slides over, and she's, like, carrying her over, like, back out. Like, that's above and beyond for your partner.
And, like, and plus also, what about Shayna Baszler? I know she had that match with with Ronda Rousey. That feud's
Loved
over
it.
with now.
So that was rushed because Ronda Rousey wanted out, which I say, bye, bitch. We don't like you anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't stand her. It's not even just the fact that she got handed everything to her, but she shit talks the fans. From what I've heard, she's a Sandy Hook denier, so ew. And she's just
she was a Sandy Hook denier. Ooh.
That's what I heard from someone, and also, like, she's such a shithawk, like, cracking jokes when she was in UFC or whatever she was in about someone whose father committed suicide. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Ah, Jesus.
So, like, I'm happy she's out. She was a blemish in the women's division. She's a wart on the ass of the WWE. So I'm happy she's gone. I want her to stay gone.
And I'm still kind of mad. I'm still kind of disappointed that we didn't get to see that Ronda Rousey Nia Jax fight, because they had an all out Twitter war that I saw on Twitter, because I followed both of them, and they were going at it on Twitter and everything because of what Ronda Rousey said, and it pissed off Nia Jax, and Nia Jax was about to, like, it's like, bitch, let's go. It's like, there's a ring. Let's go at it. And she and given the reputation about Nia Jax potatoing everybody, whoever she was in the ring with, it would have just been awesome. It would have been just awesome to see see Ronda get potatoed.
So I was the biggest Nia Jax stan. I loved her. I thought she was amazing. I thought she was stunning. Then she got released, and then a bunch of shit came out. She's anti-vax. She's anti-mask. She's basically like one of those, you're a sheeple if you wear a mask. Fuck you.
Oh no.
Fuck you.
Why, Nia?
So, because she's an idiot. Because, like, I'm very pro-mask, because February 2018, I used to work for Stop and Shop too. Yeah. And I had this woman come in, and I was on the register, and she came up to me, and she coughed directly in my face. And this wasn't like some kid, some teenager. She was talking about, oh, my grandkids were over, and they were sick this weekend. And I ended up in the hospital vomiting to the point of dehydration, and I got to discover the wonder drug of Zolfram.
Yeah.
So I caught such a wicked flu from this person. If she was wearing a mask, if maybe I was wearing a mask, things would have been better. But I got sick, so I am beyond pro-mask. I've actually just ordered a couple of sets of K95s for myself and my boyfriend in my trademark purple, of course. Which I am going to start wearing that at work, because unfortunately, a lot of mask restrictions are lifted, and so people are coming in and they're coughing and they're hacking, and it's like, I don't want to get sick.
Exactly. And real quickly before we go back to AEW, I agree. Zofran, I love you. I love you.
So when my gallbladder got rotten, I was living on that. Like, I was getting it in my IV nonstop, like every 6 hours. That stuff saved my life. And then anytime I catch the flu or anything, I keep a stash now, because you never know.
Exactly.
It is a
And
lifesaver.
and I just got and yeah, whenever I feel nauseated, I just pop the pill right there. There you go.
Yeah,
And
unfortunately, vomiting has become a
we are
part of my
very
life now.
We are very educational on this episode tonight.
I guess
We are,
so.
and you know what? It's great, and it's great. We got a legit doctor here, and
No,
who's also
nope. I am not a
or
doctor. I am a
oh,
receptionist who just happens to know a
oh,
lot about insurance and what you need,
oh,
what you can and can't get on insurance. No, I'm just a
and give.
receptionist who works in Parachute. But I
Damn, and
work with some.
I was about to say if you could make prescriptions.
No, unfortunately, though, I
Damn
do
it!
work with some amazing doctors
Oh, there
who
you
have
go.
been nothing but fantastic. And I cannot have it. I have a funny
There
story
you
of
go.
my doctor's office I work for is affiliated with a hospital. So our pulmonologists we have one out every week. One is in the ICU, one is on the floors. So I was in the hospital for my gallbladder. I'm all tucked into bed, all the way in the corner of the ER. And one of the doctors, sweet, sweet little lady, very petite woman, I'm sitting there and I'm just half awake, and I just see her stop, walk back, peek her head into my room. Tails, is that you? And I'm half dead from like vomiting everything. It's like, surprise. So she came and
Oh
checked on
man.
me and everything, kept an eye on my records and everything, which was nice.
Yeah.
I don't think they've seen my records from November of 2022 because they would have found out what I had found out, that I'm chimeric, which is entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm already a twin, and I guess we were supposed to be a set of triplets, and we absorbed the other twin, so we're chimeras.
Oh. Ah. Never know what you were going to learn here on this show.
Yeah, because the signs of chimeraism are multicolored eyes, which I have brown, gold, and green eyes,
Oh
and then
wow.
my autoimmune disorder popped up, so they wanted to check for blood clots. So they did an ultrasound from my neck to my fingertips, and the left side of my neck has 2 arteries in it instead of 1. So, genetic freak.
Yeah.
But now that we've talked about all about my
Yes.
weirdness, let's talk about more weirdness in All In.
Yes. Exactly. And so another educational moment here on Wrestling Prime, and it's welcome. It's welcome here. I remember going back a long time ago when I was in high school. I used to show on Wrestling Prime a footage of me at a because I was a cadet in the ROTC in my high school, and I was in one of the I was part of the drill team and everything like that, and yeah, it was a good time, and it had nothing to do about wrestling.
I was the AV nerd, so
Yeah, and but we showed it on my show anyways, and so yeah, it was really good.
hmm,
Anywho, let's go back to AEW. Okay,
right.
um, so the pre-matches, the pre-show matches. Let's talk about those first. Go ahead. What was the first one?
The first one was Aussie Open versus MJF and Adam Cole. And it was kind of
That was a
weird.
pre-match.
Yeah, it had to be because the main event was Cole and MJF for the title.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
So give them enough
Okay.
time to recover, electrolytes, patched up, blah, blah, blah.
True.
So,
True.
so it was a little weird because Aussie Open was out first. Normally
Yeah.
the champions come out. And so then MJF and Cole came out to their theme, which I'm not going to lie, I enjoy. And it started off like they were doing their little like wave to the crowd and everything, and Aussie Open just went and just cheap shotted them, took them both out. They're both brawling outside of the ring, and then it was Davis and MJF. MJF were the first ones to get back in the ring and started off. There was a quick pin attempt and then went into a rust hold, and I'm just going to preface this. I was trying to pay attention while typing this all up, so I may miss a few things. I may have gotten a few things wrong. I'm still trying to find my footing with reviews. Adam Cole had been taken out temporarily by Kyle Fletcher. He had been slammed into the guardrail, but he quickly repaid Fletcher by multiple yam bag shots, to quote Taz, along with a Panama Sunrise, but which unfortunately was evaded. But he was repaid with a super kick. There was the attempt at the double clothesline, but Fletcher was pulled out. And then this is where I was starting to think that maybe this is where MJF is going to turn and everything, because I'm still convinced MJF is going to go heel. Like I see the little like scared boy gimmick, but I feel like he's still that hiding devil, because the devil's greatest trick was tricking everyone into he didn't exist. So
Yeah.
Adam Cole was standing outside, was on the apron trying to get MJF to do the dive, and he goes and he bounces off the ropes and he goes to where MJF is, Adam Cole is, and instead of doing his dive, he bounces off the ropes, which causes Cole to get pulled and attacked. Pin attempt was made after the Aussie Arrow, but MJF kicked out, and he did it. He pulled off the kangaroo kick, and I pissed myself laughing. And he landed on his ass, and he immediately went into a kip up. They then tag in Cole. He then tags in Cole. They do their double clothesline. They get the pin. You have your new Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, which I wasn't expecting with MJF. I was expecting this was going to be the turn, and it was going to be that's it. And it's also because MJF doesn't like to work. So, like, when is he going to go on Ring of Honor? He's barely on as it is.
Yeah.
I would give that match probably an 8 out of 10. I thought it was very good. Both teams were great, worked very well together. I like being surprised. So 8 out of 10. Or I guess I'd guess an A-.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. That was. So I gotta go watch that match.
I do also want to preface, we have a Sunday tradition where we go out to breakfast. So I overslept. So we went out to breakfast. We got back at about 11:30. So we watched Aussie Open versus MJF, and then we went and watched the next match, which was Hook versus Jack Perry. So I didn't see any of the recordings or anything. Though we did get to see it was Jeff Jarrett accompanied by Satnam Singh, Jay Lethal, and oh my god, I can't remember the guy's name. The really, really tall dude.
Who was formerly Big Cass?
No. That's with Jeff Jarrett and Satnam Singh and Jay Lethal and everyone.
Oh, okay.
I've forgotten his name, but
maybe I was thinking about Big Cass that was on Collision last night.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But yes, I did watch Collision. I made sure to watch that. I did fall asleep after during I did watch Rampage. Never mind. But anyways, So they came out and Jeff Jarrett is saying, "No, wrestling wasn't built on your guys. It was built on promoters like me and this person." He starts calling them wankers and all these other like British slang terms.
Yeah.
And then Paul White's music hits, and he's being accompanied by Anthony Ogogo. And then they bring out one more surprise. And my boyfriend was pissed because they didn't go ahead and splurge and get Madonna. But out came Grado with his fanny pack and everything. And just immediately Big Show clocks the big guy, and Grado is like it was just basically a little brawl. And it was good. It was funny. I enjoyed it. It's nice to see Grado because I followed him because I followed Defy. I follow What Culture. We follow Cultaholic, so we were very well versed with British wrestling.
Oh, there you go. Yes.
And then the last match to round everything up was Hook versus Jack Perry for the FTW title. Hook came out with his normal fanfare. Perry, of course, came out in a limo. And you know what happens when you bring out the props? Perry's head was slammed into the car door. And then Hook suplexed him onto the roof of the car. But, no, wait, I'm sorry. Perry suplexed Hook on the roof of the car, then did a rolling thunder onto Hook, who was then on the roof of the car. Perry says he's putting Hook through the windshield, or at least he's like signaling that. And again, same wrestling rules. You say you're going to do it, you're going to get it. So he was going to do a suplex. It was reversed into a fisherman suplex. Perry goes through the windshield. You got both of them got cut like right about here. Cracked the windshield. They're like, oh, that's a real windshield. Thank God I didn't wake my dog up. See, back in the ring, Perry has thrown a trash can into the ring and has thrown Hook into the corner. He was setting him up for the coast-to-coast. More insults to RVD. Instead of jumping, he jumps down, flips off the crowd. Me moment. Let's see. There's a series of German suplexes off of both. And then Perry goes to the top rope for a moonsault. See, onto both Hook and the trash can. Hook rolls out of the way, gets him into the red rum, and gets his FTR belt back. Or FTW, I'm sorry. Sorry, I was thinking about FTR, and we'll talk about that later because I have a lot to say about that.
Okay.
I will give that one probably a 7. I'm Jack has not found his footing yet, so I think he could be a great monster heel. But I also see that little I still see the little good egg in him, so he needs to kind of make that egg rotten. There was also mention of an altercation backstage with Jack Perry regarding CM Punk. There's multiple accounts. Some are saying that Jack Perry stepped to Punk. People are saying vice versa. I'm not sure because given the history with Punk, and it kills me because I adored Punk. I used to be very hardcore straight edge, and it was cool to see someone like that of like alternative with the tattoos and the piercings, and that's like, oh no, I'm anti-drug. And it's like that's my jam. Yes, because I had the Punk hat, I had the Punk T-shirts. When I was at the dojo, I had my ribs broken, and one of the black belt that did it came up to me. He's like, "Look, you're fine. I could see your ribs," because he thought because I wear like one of my CM Punk shirts. I'm like, it was the two fists instead of the ribs. I'm like, wrong shirt, dude. He's like, I don't know with you. Yeah. But I digress. So there was an altercation backstage. I don't have a lot of details yet. I'm probably going to look into it more.
But since it involved Jack Perry and rumored CM Punk, it's funny you brought that up because a few weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, Jack Perry had a rumored altercation with CM Punk about a spot that Jack Perry wanted to do, and CM Punk got pissed off at him for even thinking about doing that spot. And what it was a real glass bottle that Jack Perry wanted to get hit over the head with, and CM Punk was pissed off, like legit. This was a rumor. I don't know if this was true or not, but CM Punk was rumored to be pissed off at Jack Perry for even mentioning that. And
so from what I've heard, he's been sending people home left and right on Collision, like Nemeth, Perry, not Kazarian. Oh God, why am I forgetting his name? Daniels, Christopher Relations. It's like Punk is getting this. He's getting this reputation. It's like, dude, what the fuck? Who are you?
Yeah.
Where's the voice of the voiceless? Like, why are you this giant douche? But also on the same side of that coin, from what I'm hearing, is Perry has been getting a lot of heat. Back with his feud with Christian, he had called him a pussy and had merchandise with the word pussy put on it. And they told him, like, nope, you can't do this. They're pissed he did the merchandise already. And, like, just he was not allowed to use that again.
Yeah. And and the excuse for Jack Perry wanted to do that spot, whether it was true or not, was because he wanted to be sent home. He wanted to be sent home. Apparently, he didn't want to be, like, I guess he doesn't want to be there anymore or anything like that. That's the rumor. Because he wanted to find some way to weasel not coming in, showing up for work, pretty much. So he wanted to do this thing, and he thought, and the rumor was he wanted to do that. He wanted to do that spot where he wanted to get nailed in the head with a glass bottle, like a real glass bottle, instead of one of those sugar fake ones.
Well, we'll talk about that later because that kind of makes sense then regarding a later match.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about them. Well, next up is the man of the hour. The next match was Samoa Joe versus CM Punk for the Real World title. Now, in my eyes, I felt the match started off very slow. There was a lot of lockups, a lot of rest holds. But my boyfriend did point out to me, they're older. Like, let me grab my watch really quick because this will tell me. How old is CM Punk? Come on. Tell me how old he is, buddy. CM Punk is 44.
Yeah.
How old is Samoa Joe? So Samoa Joe is 43. They're both in their 40s. They both have been wrestling for a really long time. So I get why it wouldn't be as fast-paced. So Punk gets Samoa Joe into a hold. He manages to basically wiggle out of the ring, almost inchworming his way out. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry, he was in a headlock, and he gave Punk this like wicked chop that just like flipped him over, and it looks like he's about to just plow into him, but Punk kind of like Braun Strowman's like run around the ring. Looks like he was gonna do that, but Punk just slid back in, and it's kind of a there's like this there was again like I'm not gonna do every play by play. There's a really good spot where it's like a pendulum chop, where like Punk was like on the ropes like this. Joe would punch him, he'd swing back up, smack him, back up. And that was really funny. I enjoyed that. Joe then takes a hurricanrana and avoids the elbow. And then he starts an Ole chant, which I thought was fucking hilarious. And then my boyfriend did point out that it was originally Joe's chant, and then El Generico took over.
Yeah.
He then does a running knee, which put Punk, and I don't like this. I thought it was really unique with AEW that they don't have the commentators like near the ring. They have them back in the corner, but commentary was smack dab in the ring, or right behind the ring. Punk's head went through their commentary table, and we thought that Punk bladed because his face was covered in blood, but he was cut like right about here, so we think the table actually cut him.
Yeah.
But he came out and he was already bleeding. As we thought he bladed hard, and as JR said, he lost a lot of blood. Samoa Joe was just fucking dominating this match. He's getting some in, but every time just Joe came back with fire and amazing counters. Punk got cheap heat by paying homage to Cena with the shoulder tackle. And you would expect him to do the like, you can't see me. Instead, he flips off the crowd, my man, and does the Hulk Hogan ear thing.
Yeah.
Joe not to be, and he does the leg drop. In my notes here, I put Joe not to be out assholed, does the Hulk up and point, and then just flips into this amazing power slam, just slams him down. And he then goes into a submission hold, but Punk bites Joe, and then he does the Pepsi plunge to get the 1-2-3, and he retains the title, which I feel like they're pulling more titles out of their ass now.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this one a C. Also, Joe did get his spot in where Punk is jumping down and he just kind of like slowly strolls away, which I love that. I think that's hilarious. I'm going to give it a C. I get it, their age, so that's the only reason I'm docking points.
Yeah. And, I mentioned this weeks ago during my my first ever AEW episode, which was when Collision premiered. And I talked about how I always loved seeing CM Punk and Samoa Joe in the ring together because they worked really well together when they were with Ring of Honor, and the chemistry that that these two have makes it very memorable. And I said, you know what, these two, it's like we need one more Punk Samoa Joe match, and we got it. And we got it. Well, the last time we saw them, and there was that 6-man tag match. But as singles action, they have better chemistry, and I probably would have given that match a C as well too if I saw it. It's like they're up there, they're up there in age, they're not like how they were back when they were working in Ring of Honor, and it was, but the chemistry that they both have, I think it's truly remarkable, and it is nice that we get to see one more time, them two in the ring. Plus also, going back to WWE, when AJ Styles and Nakamura, they fought in Japan, and we saw that before in the past. We saw it again in at WrestleMania. It was good, and seeing stuff like that a lot of people remember that had an impact, that made us wrestling fans. It was always a good feeling, and I think that was truly remarkable. And so I probably would praise this match as well too. Not as much as they were when they were younger, but nonetheless, we still got we still got a good match between the two of them, so that's pretty good.
Yes. It was very sound, very technically sound, and it was enjoyable. It's just, I've seen the Ring of Honor matches, so I know they've done better, but I also understand, age. Like, I mean, look at me. I used to, like, hop off of shit, and now, like, I limp all the time.
Yeah.
But, I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll start hopping off of shit again, but we'll see.
Yeah. Same thing with me. It's like I can't do the backyard wrestling anymore, but you know what? I think I got one more in me. I think
maybe we can fight.
I'm a middle-aged and crazy man.
But
which is true. I'm 45, so yeah.
I got 10 years and I'll be middle-aged.
Yeah.
But hey, I look young and I'm happy.
There you go. Hey, as long as we all look young, that's all that matters. And you know what? I still got my health and everything like that, and you got your health as well too.
Yep.
So, all right, on to the next match.
But also, I do want to say I did also love Joe and AJ Styles too. I thought they were great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So the next match was Jay White, Juice Robinson, and Takeshita, with, as I believe it was Tony Schiavone calling Don Callis the human pustule. They're also accompanied by the Gun Club. They're calling themselves Bullet Club Gold, versus what is called the Golden Elite, Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, and Hangman Adam Page. Yeah. Starts off Page and Juice Robinson, quick back and forth. Omega tagged in for a quick back and forth punch back. Jay White strikes Ibushi in the face, and is given, because like he's just sitting there, bop, 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 and then just this kick that just sent him sprawling to the ground that looked amazing. And then finally we get what everyone's been after, Omega and Takeshita in the ring against each other. They're basically trying to build him up as the new Kenny Omega. Unfortunately, it developed into a clusterfuck, bodies everywhere. Both White and Robinson are working Omega's leg. White was almost playing it like a guitar. I sense an injury angle here of like they're gonna, like, you might be out with a leg injury for a bit. As expected, the Guns interfered. I was wondering, like, okay, who's it going to be? Who's going to come in and take them out? I was thinking the Young Bucks before their match, but nobody came out. There were stereo moonsaults by the Golden Lovers. Ibushi had slipped off the top rope, but caught himself on the last turnbuckle. Let's see. Catching up on my notes. They took out Takeshita and Robinson, which left White all on his own. Page, Omega, and Ibushi all took full advantage of. There was a dragon suplex that was reversed into a blue thunder bomb. Omega and Hangman did this amazing sequence of slamming Robinson, jumping up and striking Takeshita, moonsaulting onto Robinson one after the other. That was just fucking phenomenal. If you can see that part of the match, I highly recommend it. After giving the Golden Elite the running knee strikes, Takeshita rolls Omega up, and after pulling on the tights, he gets the win. I'm going to give this one probably a 7.5. I think it was very good. I definitely love the Gun Club being those sniveling, cowardly heels. Omega, always amazing. Kota Ibushi, who, again, up until 2016, we did not have internet. We didn't have our own internet. We didn't have any streaming services except for like Netflix and Hulu. So I'm very behind on, like New Japan and everything. But Ibushi was amazing. The whole match was very, very good.
All right. Okay.
So following that was the Young Bucks versus FTR. And I'm not going to lie. I seriously thought, with everything going on with Cash, I thought they were going to lose the belts.
Yeah.
The Young Bucks came out with an homage to Freddie Mercury, both in a song reminiscent of them, of "We Will Rock You." Their outfits were very similar to what they used to wear, and to what he used to wear, which, again, I put my little note here, not going to lie, pretty sure FTR is losing. FTR showing respects to Jay Briscoe, Bray Wyatt, and Brody Lee. They both had the armbands. Bray and Brody here, Jay here. Let's see. Nice. Matt and Dax start the match off, but Dax quickly tags in Cash. Nick saves Matt from a slam, catching him, which is basically they were both like had him on his shoulders. They were going to slam him down, and he was caught and just gently placed down. Both of them, all knocked each other down, leading into kip ups to a stare down, and then it's just basically that slugfest that we always get. Again, I'm reading my notes from my tablet, so bear with me. And again, I'm very new to this, and I just almost broke my teapot.
Oh boy.
I'm using my boyfriend's table right now because my office is still a pigsty, and I'm still working on cleaning that up. So hopefully in a couple of weeks, I will have my setup all ready and ready to go. See, Nick does a dive, and it looks like he caught his shoulder on the top rope, so he was a little off. Let's see, there were more homages this time to Bret Hart. They did some of his gestures. Cash is crawling to Dax. Matt is holding onto his leg, and Matt is trying to sneak up and super kick Dax, but he gets caught and pummeled, just like annihilated. Counter upon counter, and as I put in, AKA lots of spinny shit in an inside cradle that is easily escaped with multiple pin attempts. There are tandem sharpshooters performed by FTR. Dax and Matt are in the ring while Cash and Nick are on the apron. Nick escapes and quickly ends a sequence with a moonsault. A shatter machine is blocked by Matt. Let's see, taking Cash out. Nick tries a quick roll up, but that's quickly thwarted. They do a BTE trigger, and it's countered by ducking. Nick is speared out of the ring by Cash. Matt gets an FTR trigger, kissed on both cheeks, and gets Shatter Machine. Nick kicks out. Springboard stopped by Matt, eating a super kick from Dax. Cash goes for the 450. Matt rolls out. Fight Forever chant. Got to promote the game. Dax eats the Bucks Shatter Machine while Cash gets the BTE trigger. Still kicks out. Nick then eats a Shatter Machine, and FTR retains. And then there was this whole, they were going to go shake their hands, but Matt and Nick both just ducked out. That one I'm always, anytime those guys are together, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10.
There you go.
They're great together. As much as I don't, outside of the ring, I don't like FTR because Dax had his podcast where he was just shit-talking everyone. And now the whole situation with Cash and the road rage, which did lead to a joke with my boyfriend while we were driving through Waterbury of, now I kind of see why Cash, whipped his gun out. Because people drive like ferrets on crystal meth in Waterbury.
Mm-hmm.
I digress.
And you won't hear no arguments from me because you know what? I used to live in Waterbury, and now that I left to move to Southington, it's become a shithole city.
Oh my god, it's insane. Like I was driving home and this woman almost hits me and cuts me off. So I blow my horn like what the fuck. And this psycho woman gets out of her car and starts threatening me. And then instead of just like, okay, the light's green, get out of here, it's nope, I'm gonna go ahead and block the whole line of traffic. I'm like, nope. So yeah, people are fucking insane.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? And I was joking with my parents not too long ago, and I said, ever since we lived, we moved out of Waterbury to another city, Waterbury has fallen to crap with the drama that's been going on there. And you know what? I was born and raised in Waterbury, and it's sad to see what happened to my town.
I know,
it is, but now
I went to our mall, and it's.
Oh, don't get me started with that mall. And it's like that mall used to be beautiful and everything like that. Now, half of it is a ghost town, and the other half is just like all the good stuff. And I'm like, no wonder why that fish restaurant is so shitty down there because it's on the other side where the mall is lousy. Yeah, and it was like past JCPenney, there's no stores there.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck happened to this mall?
I mean, I used to frequent the Hot Topic there, and now it's like I had a situation where we lost someone, and the girl, instead of just like, oh, like made a mistake, and instead of going, I'm very sorry, she's like, oh, well, everyone has problems. Somebody just died in my family. Can you fucking not? And then she's shit-talking me to a coworker as I'm in the store, and she wondered why I suddenly didn't want to buy anything.
Yeah.
But enough trash talking where we came from. The next match was one I was really looking forward to. It's one of my favorites. The Stadium Stampede match with Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, Santana Ortiz, which that one threw me through a loop. I thought that like they were done. They were going to talk about what their breakdown was. So it was really nice to see them back. And they were against the best friends, Chuck Taylor, Trent Beretta, the champion, what is he now? The international champion? Is that
I think so?
Orange Cassidy, Penta, and Eddie Kingston. And just right off the bat, Kingston is just going straight down and goes right for Claudio. Not even 5 minutes in, and Mox is already bleeding.
Oh
My
boy.
boyfriend's like, well, there is a really strong breeze that probably cut him. And
Yeah.
I put prefacing this is going to be hella hard to write, so I'm just going to riff this. There was a skewer spot.
Oh man.
Mox brought out the skewers and he was going to do it to Penta.
Oh,
My boyfriend's like, well, he maybe has padding in his mask. Penta did not take the skewers. So immediately, just like, nope. I'm yelling to my boyfriend, tell me when it's over. And finally it's over. And he's literally telling me, no, okay, I think all the skewers are out. And I even put here, Mox is going to do it to Penta, but reversed, and then I gagged. So Penta did the skewer spot to Mox. Santana then powerbombed Penta in a chair, and it looked like Penta was going to be injured. I even put Wheel C. Alex was helping him out with Doc Samson. Mox, and I put this because it is true, he literally mauled Cassidy with the skewers and biting, like just stabbing him in the face. Again, I dry heaved.
Oh, I missed that.
The lights flickered weirdly, like there was like a pink tinge to the ring, so we were a little thrown off. Chuck attacks Claudio and Yuta with the umbrella. We crack jokes about, oh, it is England. Kingston jams the umbrella into Yuta's mouth. Meanwhile, Claudio and Chucky are going at it with the umbrella. Basically, like, it kind of made me think of the movie Kingsman. Let's see.
Let me ask you something before you continue. How
Yes.
many times did Orange Cassidy had his hands in his pockets?
Oh my god, I have a note in here where he was like just doing kip-ups and everything. Good chunk of the match, his hands were in his pockets, which I applaud the shit out of him for being able to like just move around like that with your hands in your pockets.
Yeah, but did he do that shin tapping spot?
No, you're gonna applaud what he did in this match.
Okay.
Let's see. So
I
they're
don't
going
know because I'm kind of anti. I don't like when Orange Cassidy does that. I did that on Thursday. I'll do it again. Where he has the hands in the pockets and he's like,
yeah, that spot did not happen.
Good. Thank you.
He was very good. Let's see. So
I actually saw that on Friday, where he was wrestling. I forgot the guy's name, and they had that singer that valet who was singing this guy out and everything like that, and he was doing the tapping. That part, yeah. Okay, all right. I'll let it slide because it wasn't a match. It wasn't a match. So to me, I thought it was kind of comical. So you know what, I let it slide. But still, it just bothers me. It always bothers me. When he does that spot.
Yeah, and, but it got him over.
Yeah, it got him over. But I'm the type that that still loves the old school style. And if Orange Cassidy ever did that spot to like guys like Ric Flair in his prime, like Andre the Giant. Oh, God forbid if he ever did that spot to Andre the Giant. Andre the Giant in his prime would have buried him.
Oh, he would have been a smear on the mat.
Yeah, because Andre wouldn't even, because Andre is old school and like that, and he would not put up with that type of garbage, especially guys like Superstar Billy Graham and hell, even Jesse Ventura, I think he doesn't even like that spot either.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, luckily, none of that in this match.
Good.
So after watching Claudio and Chucky beating the shit out of each other with an umbrella, it then cuts back to Kingston where he's fighting security. And Yuta then... So then this match, when you mentioned the bottle, Yuta does smash a bottle over his head. Trent is busting open after giving a ladder a quick kiss. And he's quickly flipped onto a barbed wire board. Yikes. Cassidy is stabbed. Let's see. Cassidy stabbed in the face by Santana with a fork. The best friends are dragged to the top of the ramp. And then there was a surprise guest. It's Sue! I had to steal Shivani's thing. She gets a chant and a kiss from Mox.
Oh, Sue.
Sue. Kiss from Mox, who then gets his ass handed to him by Trent. Her van is filled with trays of cookies for everyone, which the best friends happily share with Moxley's face. Let's see. Penta Red then comes out. I don't remember the exact name, or I can't pronounce it, one or the other. Comes back. See, and after breaking the ladder, because I'm sorry, they use really cheap ladders. Like he climbed up and it just snapped, which I think that's what happened with Wardlow too. Let's see.
And you think that AEW, with all that money they've been making, especially through the capacity sales, they would have had better ladders to give
You
out.
would think. So from jumping on the ladder with Santana through the table in the ring, Yuta's trying to stab Chucky with the fork again, but he hits the with the screwdriver, hits the turnbuckle. You could see the screwdriver sticking out of it.
Oh my God.
Cassidy gets 21 spins and almost takes a Ricola bomb. He then gives Claudio 3 orange punches, but only gets a 2 count. We think there might be Legos on the outside, but we couldn't tell. Orange then wraps his hand in duct tape, but he's doing it with the sticky side outside on the outside, and we're trying to figure out what's going on. And then he has a bucket. He holds up a glass bottle. He shatters it into the bucket and proceeds to grind his fist into it. But Mox catches him, and he dumps it out, and he's DDT'd onto the glass. Eddie is back with a chair wrapped in barbed wire, which is an homage, of course, to Terry Funk. Eddie and Mox are in each other's faces, but Claudio pulls him into a backslide. Eddie kicks out, almost gets a paradigm shift, but he's put through a table along with Mox, causing Claudio to take a glass-covered orange punch for the win. Post-match, you see Eddie and Mox in the table, and you just see Eddie to Mox. My man.
Oh, boy.
That match, I'm going to give it an 8. It was very good. The only problem is I don't like the picture-in-picture. It's, as much as I enjoy the Stampede match, it's hard to write about.
Yeah.
Because there's so much going on at once, so there's only so much you can do without missing something or getting something wrong.
Yeah.
So 8.5 out of 10.
Okay.
The match after that was Britt Baker versus Saraya versus Toni Storm versus Hikaru Shida. Saraya's out first. She comes out with her family. She's wearing a black crown, and as she's even coming out to Queen's "We Will Rock You."
Nice.
Toni is doing her 1950s starlet gimmick. She's coming out to music similar to what you would hear for the royal family. Everyone else came out as usual. Hikaru Shida was in some form of cosplay. Unfortunately, I'm unaware of what. Saraya and Toni are already starting to show cracks in their little partnership, fighting over who's going to pin Britt. It's broken up by Shida pulling them both up by their hair. It's almost reminiscent of a parent pulling a kid up by their ear. Saraya's mom is, and then, the usual brawling, and then Saraya's mom is holding Britt Baker, and Toni is just clocking her, and she's cheering her on, but then Britt ducks and nails Saraya's mom.
Oh, man.
Let's see. Toni gets back in the ring, and she's begging, it was an accident. And she gets her hair pulled, and it's like you're thinking they're in jeopardy, and they're just going at each other, back and forth. And it ends with Toni removing the lower turnbuckle and having Saraya's neck against it, getting ready to go at her. But then Ruby comes out, and she's trying to bring some kind of order to them. But all she gets is Toni hits her, and she walks out in disbelief. I think this might be it for them. I think this is it for the Outcasts. It looks like Toni is going for the heel, and she goes to pin Saraya, but there's some kind of submission done by Saraya where she's like, it's almost like she was like the front of like a pirate ship where the mermaid is, where she's like this.
Yeah. And
it's broken up by Britt Baker. Saraya then, and also there was a sequence where Britt was trying to get the lockjaw onto her oh god, I sound like JR, where she's trying to get it on Shida, but she's just like evading it by lifting her chin up, and then it's broken up. Finally, the match ended by Saraya hitting Toni in the eyes with spray paint and winning the belt.
Oh, wow.
And it was a huge feel-good moment. Her whole family came out. Everyone was just exploding. I'm going to give the match itself.
Saraya had a hometown advantage and also, too, especially with the pop that she got,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure it was, electrifying and everything. Okay, so what do you rate this match?
I'd give it, the match itself, I'm going to give it a 7. Unfortunately, it did feel very short and like there was too much jammed in because, 1, there's only one women's match. 2, it didn't give as much time as a lot of other matches. I feel like the Acclaimed could have been cut a little shorter. I feel like the Coffin match could have been cut a little shorter, but that's me. I'm going to give the storyline, I'm going to give that a 9 because I want to see like how this is going to go. Are they going to go back and say everything's all better? Are they going to like be like against each other? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Following that match was the casket match of Swerve Strickland and Christian versus Darby Allin and Sting. I do also want to throw a fun little fact. My boyfriend and I always grocery shop on the weekends. So we had bought our new TV and my boyfriend had gone to go home and just put it in the house and then come back. So I was running around grocery shopping by myself. And I ran into a lovely woman who was wearing a shirt that says like AR for champion or something like that. And I couldn't help myself. It was an older woman. I'm like, is that an AR Fox shirt? And she goes, yes, that's my son. And I immediately fangirled of like, oh my God, we're such huge fans. You know, we saw him a couple of times in Northeast Wrestling. We were so happy he made the jump to AEW. We're huge fans. She goes, oh, thank you. And we're like, oh, we're really sad he's not being in England. And she goes, yeah, no, it's okay. And then I kept bumping into her by myself.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, random luck.
Nice.
They started off, the vignette was Sting was Jack the Ripper. And he takes off the hat to reveal he's half Joker makeup. Sting got to come out to Seek and Destroy, which he used in WCW. Full Joker Sting makeup. They mentioned the Fireflies was out, which was really nice. Something that just personally I found a bit distasteful. It wasn't an actual coffin. They were using an actual casket. There's a skull painted on the outside, and the inside it said Swerve's House. During the match, we found out it contained 2 jackets covered in thumbtacks. Sting hits Swerve and Prince Nana with a cricket bat and is then given the jacket, which Christian and Swerve both got tandem stinger and coffin splashes. Let's see. And then Darby Allin gets his arms duct taped behind him by Christian, but he doesn't give a fuck and just flings himself around until Uncle Sting cuts him free. I refer to him as Uncle Sting, who's taking his gothic nephew to Hot Topic.
Yeah, he pretty much took him under his ring ever since Sting showed up in AEW.
Yeah. Let's see.
So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Let's see. Christian is blocking Sting from slamming the Swerve into the coffin by closing it. Because I'm pretty sure Swerve loved that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Darby almost gets a concerto, but gets away and kicks Christian into a corner. Let's see. Flipping stunner onto the apron. Sting slammed through a table and Swerve. Basically just did it once, table didn't break. Then Sting put his whole ass onto Swerve and went through the table. Christian is put into the coffin, but is saved by Luchasaurus, which I did put my little note. Come on, Wardlow, come out and beat his ass.
Yeah.
Let's see. Nick Wayne comes in for the save with a skateboard and gets his ass kicked and carried like a tantrum toddler to the back by Luchasaurus. Swerve is placed into the coffin, set up for a coffin drop. Or on the coffin, set up for a coffin drop. It rolls out of the way. Darby hits it so hard, he dents it. And just, we both flinched. Let's see. Stinger splash to Swerve. Swerve whipped into Christian and another Stinger splash. Scorpion Deathlock onto Christian, eats a chair. Then bat to the dick and then jaw of Sting. Swerve does a knee drop onto Sting. And the coffin is brought into the ring while Christian throws Darby like a rag doll. Sting is in the coffin and Swerve throws his bat in, which you all were going to expect it. The bat was going to make sure it didn't close. Sting is placed on top of the coffin. Swerve goes for a 450, slamming into the coffin. While on the outside of the ring, Christian is reintroduced to the TNT title by Darby. Sting gives Swerve a death drop onto the coffin, places him in. Swerve will not go down, sticking his hands out. Sting is slamming the lid on his hands, and he won't go down. Until finally, Darby goes to the top rope and does the coffin drop onto the coffin. And they close it. And they close the coffin, and boo, no Wardlow.
Nice.
My boyfriend was saying, his hair is hanging out. It's like hair and hand. There's 2 different things. I'm going to give this an 8.5 out of 10. And I pray to God that Darby just slows down a little. We want him to have a career. He had to basically be like half carried out by Sting. And we are getting to the end stretch. There are 3 matches left on this card. No worries.
Okay.
Technical issues like my headphones.
Hold on a sec.
No worries.
There we go.
Yay.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that. I had a interference there.
No worries, I get it all the time with these. They're very loud.
Yeah. So
But
so you were saying after the match?
So no, just after the match, Sting was half carrying Darby up. He couldn't even like hold his skateboard. Like he was fucked up. The next match is Jericho versus Ospreay. Very short, very bad Fozzy song. Unfortunately, Jericho, just his voice does not translate without autotune. I remember catching him on The Masked Singer and going, yeah, that's Jericho, and yeah, he's not that great. Sammy accompanies Jericho to the ring. Ospreay is cheered like a god. He's bringing back his Assassin's Creed entrance, and he brought again the human pustule spot. I'm referring to this spot as the Pikachu spot, where they're just basically slapping each other back and forth because, you know, Pokemon Mewtwo Strikes Back. The two Pikachus are just bitch slapping each other. See, and then there was a weird mess up with the replay where it just basically just played everything in reverse. We laughed. Double kicks. They both knocked each other down. They got back up, flipped each other off, kicking each other in the legs. Again, are you guys middle schoolers? I don't know. I'm going to give it to Jericho. He's taking all these hits and all these flippy moves. He could be just like dodging them or just not even doing the match. And, you know, this dude's like 52. Ospreay's corkscrew kick and standing shooting star press are amazing and beautiful. Like, my God. And again, Jericho takes it, no problem. He's hung up on the ropes and he's taking a stunning shooting star press while hung up on the ropes. Whereas and Ospreay eats two shooting star presses. Judas effect into a hook kick. Well, countered into a hook kick. Let's see. Jericho manages to kick out of, and again, bruh, you're 52. I applaud you. You don't have to go that hard. Stormbreaker countered into a power bomb, then countered into the walls of Jericho. Sammy nails Ospreay in the head with his belt, but manages to get his arm up in time. Ospreay gives Jericho a standing Spanish fly. Jericho low blows Ospreay while Audrey's back is turned in a Judas effect, which Ospreay kicks out of. Stormbreaker after both attempted Judas effects, and Jericho still kicks out. Jericho gets up to his knees and he's given the form of final Stormbreaker. Ospreay gets the win. Post-match, Sammy tries to get Jericho cheered. Jericho waves him off and walks away. So I feel like the Jericho Appreciation Society is still around, but Jericho doesn't want it anymore. I feel like it's going to maybe push into his Painmaker gimmick, or it's going to change into something completely. Maybe we'll even get that really cool Jericho where he was like in the suit and very calculating and cold, which I would think would be amazing. This match, This is definitely a 9 out of 10. Jericho did his shit and did it well. He was not as bad as he normally is, and Ospreay is just fucking phenomenal. And next up is House of Black versus the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass. House of Black came out first, and I realized why. They were doing a tribute to not only Bray Wyatt, but to Brody Lee. They were dressed in his Exalted One robes. Murphy was holding his lantern. Matthews was holding his lantern, placed it to the ring. The arena is lit up with cell phones of the fireflies, and it was beautiful. I teared up a little. And again, I noted this was going to be hell to commentate. I'm winging it again. They brought back their stipulation rule, and so they picked a no holds barred match. Bowen starts off against Matthews. Guillotine then slams Malachi face first into the apron. Julia Hart then tries to interfere, messing with Daddy Ass because I'm a girl, you can't fuck with me. And nope, she gets these scissor me timbers, to which Taz needs an anatomy lesson. He said she took it right in the yam bags, and as far as I know, she does not have yam bags. Maybe on her chest. Let's see. And then here it is. It was in this match, the random Mercedes shot. I was like, why the fuck? And Brody is barking and getting the arena to start barking. He goes to hit, I believe it was Daddy Ass, but got out of the way in time and goes headfirst into the guardrail. And immediately we can tell Billy Gunn is gassed. Brody is barking again. If I meet him, I'm going to give him a pig's ear. I put that in my notes. And now he has a chain going for he has a chain wrapped around his hand. He's going for Dawkins. Ducked, and Malachi got some extra iron in his diet. Billy is doing Faymaster after Faymaster, but and they're going for the pin. Julia pulls Aubrey out. Malachi nails Billy in the face, but he kicks out. Attempted Dante's Inferno, but the Acclaim get the save. 2 Faymasters, 2 mic drops, and all 3 of them have to pin Brody for the win. They're now the champions. House of Black rip the titles from their hands, and the crowd starts singing "Scissor Me Daddy." They hand the belts over, almost like a passing of the torch or them crowning them. They have their big scissor party. That's it. And thank God they didn't scissor them, because that would have been awkward. That was the match. I'm gonna give that a 6.5. I mean, I'm sorry, but we had talked earlier, like, some wrestlers who shouldn't be, like, being put over in anything, and Daddy Ass was always mid-card. Like, I don't feel he should have the belt. I feel like it should be on House of Black. I feel like maybe Team the Acclaimed up with someone else, but, like, if you're gassed 5 minutes into this match, it's time to hang up the boots, dude.
Yeah.
Like, Sting...
I think there was with Sting, he should, he probably should have stayed retired and everything like that, but hey, he can, he's in the 60s, he can still go and everything, and or 50s or 60s, I forgot how old he is.
Sting, I believe, is 62.
Okay. Yeah, he can still go and everything, but still, it's really, it's good to see him in there, but there comes a time where, we all can't wrestle for a long time. Eventually, you gotta hang up the boots for good.
Yeah,
and
with
Ric Flair, Ric Flair, he knew when it was over, but he was pretty much still wrestling for a really long time, and during his last match was that when he fought Andrade at the NWA anniversary special.
Yeah, they basically the whole pay-per-view was called Ric Flair's final match.
Yeah, and I didn't see that match, but I wanted to, and
we bought it. And I actually mentioned it to someone. They're like, "I thought he died." I'm like, "Nope."
No. And
the thing is, though, Mexico was already like wanting him to come back and have another match like a week later.
Yeah. I heard that same. I heard the same thing too, and I was like, "No, Rick, just
don't do it."
Enough is enough is enough. A lot of people even said it too. It's like, Rick, you had your moment. It's done. It's like
Yeah, just
gotta
retire.
hang up the boots now. Yeah.
So hopefully he stays that way. But like, Billy Gunn, come on, like, you got gassed. You're like, hold the belts for a little bit and then drop them to someone else, or say you need to leave again and put somebody else in your place. Like, shit, put one of your sons in. Though they're doing quite well in their douchebag routine.
Yeah.
And now we're at the main event, which I was looking forward to.
All right.
The main event, Cole versus MJF for the title. Cole gets his normal entrance. Everyone cheers. MJF is being pushed out by some dude on his throne. He has his devil mask on, while women are just bowing in front of him. And it's an instrumental version of his theme, like an actual like symphony version. His foot bumps into the stairs and he removes his mask. See, and then he got stuck in his robe while he's getting announced, which we're all highly entertained by. See, the bell rings. They both jump out, go under the ring, and put on their team shirt, which, I'm not going to lie, there were some great combos coming out of this. I may hate the MJF character, but he is talented. Yeah. He gets the crowd to chant sportsmanship, and then he pokes Cole right in the eye. Cole bitch slaps the bitch out of him. And the friendship vine just feels gone, and now it's like they're just ready to fuck each other up.
Yeah.
It looks like Cole's going to be the heel of the match, which, whatever. I for everything that, just all of MJF's history, I still feel like he's going to be the heel.
Yeah.
And it breaks my heart that, like, they're making Cole look like the heel, because I don't want to pity MJF.
Yeah.
See, telling MJF he had him beat, he rips off MJF's shirt, signaling a super kick, but he's countered by MJF. The crowd is chanting for him, which, again, is really weird. And then he bites Cole in the face, which, what the fuck is with all the biting? Like, everyone's sweaty, they're nasty, they're gross, there's germs. Like, Don't bite. We're not kindergartners
right?
anymore. Don't bite each other. Cole slides out while MJF looks like he has a full diaper with the way he's walking. But he does a dive and lands on his feet, so, good on that. Multiple attempts culminating in a leap countered into a terrifying-looking powerbomb. Cole nails a heat seeker. I'd never seen it before, but it looked really cool. Brainbuster on the stairs. Looked like it sucked for all parties involved. It looks like MJF had gotten cut. Let's see. MJF clears the announce table and brings Adam Cole in for a tombstone, but couldn't. Nigel called him a coward. I loved it. Cole slams MJF's head onto the table and gives him a power bomb of his own and fucked his knees up. Taz let us know that the table was reinforced. Thanks to the warning. We have another Pikachu spot, which again is the slapping each other.
Yeah.
Starting from kneeling to standing, ending to a thumb to the eye to Cole. Canadian Destroyer to MJF and a few misses. They nail each other. It's a double pin. And the crowd is booing. They're yelling bullshit. Because they both went to go knee each other. They nail each other. They both pinned and they both had their arms on each other, shoulders down. The crowd is booing. They're chanting bullshit, which we're all agreeing. And Cole then demands 5 more minutes. And here's the breaking point. If MJF will or not. And he says no. The crowd begins to boo. I'm sorry, finding my line again. And here's the breaking point. It says, no, they need more than that. They need a winner. This is not going to stop until they have a fucking champion.
There you go.
So MJF goes for a pin and the trunks. Cole reverses, and the ref has been knocked out. MJF comes out and asks for a steel chair, throws it to Cole, and they hot potato it back and forth. Cole goes down.
I did see that spot on Twitter.
Yeah. See, and not to be outdone, MJF puts the belt on not the belt, the chair onto his neck.
Yeah.
See,
that shit was funny.
That was hilarious, and we're like, none of that makes sense. See, MJF goes for a pin, then a heat seeker onto Cole, kick out at 2. Cole gives a straightjacket suplex to MJF on the apron. MJF falls to the ground. Panama Sunrise onto the apron, to the floor. Cole brings him back to the ring for a pin, but MJF kicks out. MJF is being dragged around like one of my plushies, getting set up for a Panama Sunrise, but the ref gets it instead. And my boyfriend and I pissing ourselves laughing over it. MJF pulls his ring out of his trunks. Ew and owie. That is my little note. He's conflicted on if he should use it and chooses not to and put it back in the trunks. Strong comes out and kicks MJF in the dick. Panama Sunrise, knee to the back, back of the head. Crowd is without the knee pad. Crowd is counting a 10 count. Ref crawls and gives the slowest 2 count ever, but MJF kicks out. Strong gives Cole the belt, telling him to do it. That he's that he's Cole's real best friend, and we believe that Cole believes him. Ripping his shirt off, Cole takes the belt, and then he throws it to the side and tells Strong to leave. MJF gets Cole in a small package for the win and retains. MJF tells Cole the crowd still loves him, rolls out of the ring, grabs their tag team title, saying they still have that. Cole flings him like a petulant 5-year-old, and MJF, not to be outdone, losing it, telling him he's a fake piece of shit, and asking him if that's all he wanted was just the belt, and he throws the title at him. He stands there with his arms spread out, telling him, just do it, just do it. Strong comes back, and he's telling him, do it, do it, do it. And Cole stands there conflicted with the belt, but throws it to the ground and hugs MJF. Confetti is flying everywhere, and they're Strong being held back and comforted by the kingdom. So I sense there's some form of trio match coming for the November pay-per-view.
There you go.
This match, I'm giving it 10 out of 10. I think this is the match of the night. It was amazing. I love the twists and turns. I love that neither has pulled the trigger on the heel. I hope that maybe they will hold this out till November. Maybe that's when there's the heel turn. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hold my breath. I'd say the worst match of the night would probably, as much as I loved it because Daddy Ass brought it down, was the Acclaim match because Daddy Gas can't go anymore.
Yeah.
Like 5 minutes, you're gassed. Like I get gassed in 5 minutes, but that's because I'm out of shape still. I need to start hitting the gym. But all in all, I'm going to give the whole pay-per-view an 8 out of 10. Would watch again.
Awesome.
And probably in the future when I'm doing these, I probably will be watching it again so I can actually watch and do broad general strokes and then go back
There you go.
go A, B, C, because I know like I'm all over the place, and the way I type and the way I speak are definitely different.
Yeah.
But I definitely recommend giving this a watch.
But given MJF, I like him as the heel. I really do.
It's so weird seeing him as a babyface.
Yeah, and the babyface, they tried it once before. It didn't work, and because quickly when CM Punk came back, came into the AEW, for the first time, MJF was like this heel, and at that time they were going to babyface him, especially when CM Punk left, to recuperate from his injuries. And even at that time they were just like, all right, let's make him babyface and see what happens. It didn't work. I like him and even at the time where he is a heel and trying to piss off the crowd, the fans still love it, and it bothers me because here you have a top, technically the top heel of the business. MJF is that guy, and they're cheering, and it always bothered me when somebody is supposed to be like the top heel in the business are getting cheers. And a long time ago, I forgot who said it, but they said that if you're the top heel in the business and you're getting cheers instead of boos, you're not doing your job well.
Yeah, I feel like it was almost Austin that said that, but I'm probably wrong.
And I'm pretty sure there was I'm pretty sure maybe Austin said it, maybe Jim Ross said it, maybe Cornette said it. I forgot who. But I do remember that because I did hear it somewhere, and maybe it was in one of the shoot interviews.
I remember when MJF was first coming up, someone who we're working with, Mario, had gone to Long Island to see the show, and I remember him telling me like it was like Bizarro World. Everyone was cheering for him, and now it's like, are we really in Bizarro World now? Because we're still cheering for him. Like, I'm not, because I don't trust the fucker, but like,
yeah.
Then again, I am also highly entertained that he doesn't drop his kayfabe.
There was this one spot during the early stages of AEW where MJF was being that heel that he was paid to do, and the internet, the social media went off and saying that that he was being a heel to this kid and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what he did. That was, I think, maybe pour a drink on, or yeah, there it is. Yeah, that was the one. And he flipped the little kid off, and I chimed in one of the group sessions on social media, and saying, because a lot of people, and I chimed in and said, well, he's just doing his job.
Exactly.
That's the thing, and people were hating, and people were shitting on me for doing that, and I said, listen. In professional wrestling, there's a babyface and there's a heel, and sometimes you have your anti-hero. And that's it. When you have a heel, you have to do stuff that's going. You have to piss off your job as a heel. You're supposed to piss off your crowd. You're supposed to give in that heat, and then it's like you got to do things to piss off.
Oh yeah.
Piss off the audience where they're not going to create a riot. And there has been times in the past where a lot of wrestlers who were heels almost came close to getting offed and everything like that. Dudley's Sergeant Slaughter when he was a heel.
John Cena, but he was a face.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the thing too. It's like John Cena is supposed to be the baby, but people were booing him because they were like, John Cena sucks and everything. And it's like they even did that with Roman Reigns for a while, when he won the Royal Rumble one year,
Oh yeah. Oh wait, there
and
was
and the
I think it was like Fastlane or Great Balls of Fire, which there's a picture somewhere online. One of my friends shared it. Sasha Banks was in front of the logo, so she cut out the GR, so it just literally said "Eat Balls," and
yeah,
the little logo just looked like a dick.
I
with
remember that.
balls. Because I'm an adult, I'm gonna giggle at that every time. But it was a Roman. I think it was Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe, and there was a chant of "Beat the traffic."
Yeah,
And it's like, well, thank God we weren't there, because we
yeah.
probably would have left.
But I did like that. I did like that promo where later on Roman Reigns was in the ring on Raw saying, "I'm not a bad guy. I'm not a good guy. I'm the guy." And it was like perfect. It was like that was like the
Well,
perfect thing right there.
it's better than a suffering succotash.
I know, right?
Ugh.
I don't
I'm
know
so
what
glad I
got.
write my own scripts.
I was like, I don't know who wrote that. I was like, really, who proofreads this shit?
No, well,
I
speaking
mean,
of that, what about before Mox went to AEW and he was shooting with Seth Rollins, he had to like drop trow and get a shot in the ass.
I don't know. With
Like I want to
Moxley,
know
I
what
don't
they're
know.
on. I want to know what they're on and if they have any more of it.
I really don't know.
I mean, I
But
know a
that's what,
guy. You could probably give him some good acid. That's probably what they're on.
I've never been to an AEW event, and I would love to.
You're
And
missing.
when I go,
We went with Josh.
yes, yeah, I saw Justice pictures and everything like that. There was
No, no,
like
no. That was the same night as the
Terrificon.
same day. Yes, no, but we went February 2022. I'm trying to remember some of the matches. I remember Wardlow was there because he beat
Yeah,
the shit out of Anthony Ogogo. It's when MJF gave his promo about adoring CM Punk. We were there.
yeah.
And we got home at 2:00 in the morning, and I think I went to bed at 3, and I was up at 5:30 for work.
Oh wow.
And I had been in this office for like 2 weeks at this time. So like I'm showing up half dead, and they're like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?" Wrestling. And that's when they found out I was a weirdo.
There you go.
Which my boss is very like, she hates wrestling, so she's actually come up to
Yeah.
me. You know wrestling stage, right? You mean the Panama Sunrise isn't real? Bruh, I fucking know. I've known since I was 8. But like this is also right around the time where Big E broke his neck, so it's like, can you not do that shit right now?
Yeah. Exactly.
But I highly recommend any AEW show. If I have the money, I probably will take my boyfriend and I to another show. And I'll probably, if it's after October, I'll probably take the time off because 2023, the year of not fucking around and finding out, I lost all my PTO.
Yeah. Oh boy.
2 surgeries, COVID, multiple deaths in the family. I'm all tapped out for PTO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, but if I ever go to an AEW event, and I'm going to boo for the bad guy and I'm going to cheer for the good guy. That's my protocol when I go to a wrestling event. I
did still, when he was a heel, I still cheered for Wardlow.
Yeah. But even then, I will say that, whenever I saw Wardlow, I honestly could not tell if he was a baby. I honestly, at that time when I saw Wardlow, I didn't know if he was a babyface or a heel.
Oh, he was definitely a heel because he was helping MJF. Because
Oh, okay.
So my boyfriend and I from day one have been following AEW. We got the very first All In pay-per-view, which actually led to me getting a phone call from my bank in the middle of it. Because they're like, there's this weird charge. We want to make sure it's you. Ma'am, it's wrestling. You guys see my charges. How much shit do you see for the WWE network? How many WWE shops have you seen? Yeah, thank you.
All
Bye.
right.
And then so I got Sling and a Fire Stick the day AEW premiered.
Nice.
Because I wanted to watch it because I knew this was something special.
Yeah.
And we're proven right.
Yeah. And I have nothing against AEW. I like the product. It's just that the wrestling fans today are, I don't want to say they're clueless. It's just the fact that
They
that
ruin everything and make us grumpy.
yeah, and every time, whenever a wrestler, leaves the company that they were big in, they're always like, oh, they're gonna go to this brand, they're gonna go to this brand, and I'm like, shut up. And it's like,
Yeah.
do you not? It's like already perfect example, when we saw Sasha Banks on or Mercedes Moné out in the arena at All In, they were like, oh, is she gonna go to AEW? Is she gonna go to AEW? It's like, we don't know. It's like, first of all, she has a contract with Japan.
Yeah.
First of all, so we don't even know. We don't even know what they're going to be doing. Are they going to do a talent exchange or something like that?
I mean,
If so, that would
there
be
is
really
Forbidden
cool.
Door. There's
Yeah,
always plus she and Willow Nightingale
yeah,
had a match. So I mean,
yeah,
which I do have to keep an eye on Northeast Wrestling because I would love to see Willow live again. I haven't
yeah,
been to one of those since 2022, where the Hardys were there.
yeah.
And yes, I was
And
very excited to see them.
and
See,
it
it
was,
was me, my boyfriend, and Mario that all went.
there you go. And it's just it's a good but it's just a good brand. And I mean, wherever like even the whole thing with like even when Bray Wyatt, rest in peace, he go when he got released by Vince McMahon, everybody was saying, oh, he's going to be at AEW. They were so hell bent on Bray Wyatt going to AEW, and it was like the trending on Twitter was crazy, and it's like dude, he already said it that he's taking some time, he's taking some time off to figure what he's going to do because he wanted to do entertainment and everything, like maybe make a movie or something like that. Um, because I followed the his YouTube channel. It's an amazing YouTube channel. And when he was coming back, when there was hints about him coming back, we didn't know if he was going to come back for WWE or he was going to AEW. But the pieces were fitting together because we started seeing some of the same stuff on WWE that Bray Wyatt was doing. I'm like, oh shit, Bray Wyatt's coming back. We
I
don't
remember
know
the
when.
QR codes were so cool.
Yes. And everybody was like, oh, he's going to AEW, he's going to AEW. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Punk didn't help with that because he was doing little hints to everything. Like he came out and there was an
Yeah.
AC on his sneakers and there was Adam Cole, or he showed an old picture of Ring of Honor with him shaking hands with someone who was with Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
And then he came
Yeah.
out one night with BW on his shoes.
Yeah.
That never came to be.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, I wouldn't have minded seeing him in AEW as long as he got his creative freedom because, like, he was telling an amazing story. And I wish we got to see more of it. Because, like, I remember we went to Money in the Bank and they were cheering Yowie Wowie. We went to, which I did explain to my friend Jeff what Yowie Wowie was. I remember we went to the last Raw of the decade, and, Yowie Wowie chants because but that's the thing with Vince is he's so bad at this. Like, Zack Ryder, he missed Zack Ryder's opportunity. He was over as fuck. He missed Bray Wyatt's opportunity. Bray Wyatt's opportunity. All these guys that got themselves over, but because it wasn't Vince's plan, so he wasn't happy. It was like a petulant child. And fuck that shit. Grow the fuck up or leave.
What pissed me off too with Vince McMahon releasing a lot of these guys, some of these guys were doing stuff outside. This was during the time of the COVID era.
Yeah.
And everything, and a lot of guys weren't wrestling and everything like that, and they were doing stuff on site. And then Vince comes along and says, "Listen, you guys aren't going to do stuff on, you're going to have to shut down your thing, whether you're doing OnlyFans or whatever." And it just bothered me because Saraya at the time when she was Paige for WWE, she was doing stuff on Twitch, and she was really successful with that. And I went on this huge rant during this time, and and I talked about this when he released it because they were doing their own thing, and I said, Vince, and I even tweeted out to him too at the time. It's like, Vince, you're making a big mistake.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like this could have been it's like you could easily bank on this, and you could have um you could have had like especially if they're having like a few, if these guys, if your superstars are going to be having a few, are in the middle of a feud, just think of what you could be doing. Just think of what could be happening on Twitch or YouTube. They could be interacting on YouTube and making all this stuff, and you could be making a ton of money. And
But he's greedy and stupid.
booking these matches and everything like that. And they kind of did that with the 24/7 championship,
Well, they did that with
but
the Miz and LA Knight recently too, with TMZ.
yeah, yeah, and I think that they could have done more. They could have done more. Like if they, like if you're doing a show, like for example, Up Up Down Down, which is Austin Creed's thing.
Yep.
Just think what could be going on, like doing an angle during the middle of his show, and culminating into a match either
That'd
on
be
Raw or on
amazing.
SmackDown. Think about how much money they could be making on that. It's like that would be awesome. I
Can I
did
just
not
throw
get a
out one
response,
thing?
and I did not get a response back for that.
So when Up Up Down Down was on the G4 network, there's a clip
Yeah,
going around of Claudio Castagnoli, and I facepalm for 20 minutes just him making that joke of so they're vampire legends in Europe and in America, but why aren't there any in Africa? Why? Because they bless the rains down in Africa. I'm like, oh my fucking god! Why do you have to do that low hanging fruit? Why,
wow.
dude? But I'm also realizing it's 12:15, and I gotta
Yes.
work tomorrow morning.
Oh boy. Yeah, we're
We're
like
almost 3 hours.
yeah, almost 3 hours, and that I got to get going too. So, um, we will bring this episode to a close. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and tell us one more time where we can find you
We are
and
on
what are you going to
YouTube.
be doing.
We are on YouTube, Crypto Nightmare. We are on Twitter at Crypto Nightmare. We are on Instagram, Crypto Nightmare Official. I'm on Instagram, Tails _ Chan at Crypto Nightmare Official. We do video games. We do board games. We're going to be doing something called Gamer Boot Camp. I'm going to be starting my playthrough of Sonic DX Tales Story. My channel partner, Jeff, is going to be doing the Batman Telltale games. We are playing through Borderlands 2. And we are going to be starting really soon our This Week in Wrestling, and we're going to be reviewing more pay-per-views.
Awesome. And again, be sure to follow me on Twitter at TomDog247, on Threads at TomDog247. I do some TikTok videos as well at TomDog247. Crazy as it is, that's a recurring name. If you missed any of tonight's episode, you can check it out as soon as I turn off the camera. Thumbs up the video if you like it. Thumbs down if you don't. Comment down below what are some of the any memories or moments that you have uh, about Bray Wyatt or Terry Funk or even Darren Drozdoff, and what did you think about if you saw AEW All In? Tell us what you thought about it. Let us know in the comment section down below. Ring the bell to stay notified of what we're going to be doing next. And if you want to, and you can become a champion yourself by laying the smackdown on that subscribe button and you'll have your own wrestling moment as well too, and you'll be over um, in no time. So thank you again, Tails, for being on,
Thank you
and
for having me.
and and as we close out Tom Dog Days of Summer, this was a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to doing this again this event again next year, and on Thursday, Channel X, we're going to be going back to school. Um, and we'll be back, and Wrestling Prime will be back here again at the end of September with another exciting episode and everything. And but till then, for Tails, this is Tom Dog saying take care, so long, peace.
Bye.
Have a good night, everybody.